in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m., featuring a large selection of 2020 to 2014 Caterpillar, John Deere, and Volvo articulated dump trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Have your sports curiosity cured.
Over the line, and then off the stick of Anderson High. Karius tried to get it deep. It's played out to maybe a break here. The other way,
Veteran of the sports reporting game for over 25 years. Breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams.
Oh, terrible turnover. Jarvis is stopped by Hart. Oh, my goodness. Now out in front, Stall. He scores while falling down.
This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, here we go for Saul 684, Wednesday, June the 10th. Hearty good morning to you on a Wednesday morning. Thanks so much for tuning into the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 on your AM radio dial on your morning drive into work or wherever you're heading out on hump day. So glad you could spend some time with us this morning, and also watch us on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. Drop us a like, a subscription. We're also on X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. And as always, the many streaming services are out there, and you can check those out as well on iHeart, the TuneIn app, even on sports1440.ca. If you miss any part of any show, it turns into the many, many podcasts that are out there on Apple, Spotify, Google, even Amazon. Please subscribe. Pardon me. It's free. Select the auto download. You'll never miss a second of any show, man. So much to bust down again on a Wednesday. This week has been nutso. The Stanley Cup playoffs are turning into, well, the final here is turning into one of the very best ever. And I mean, last night, Carolina wins it 5-3 over Vegas to tie the series at 2. It's now a best of 3. Jordan Stahl had 2 goals last night. The game-winning goal that he scored, turning himself into a contortionist or whatever. Like, there was no possible way you thought he would get enough on that one to be the game winner. And then you thought maybe Carter Hart was sliding across and the puck was going so slow, maybe that he was going to get it. Brandon Bussey comes off the couch, basically. First start since April 14th. Yes, he relieved Freddie Anderson in Game 3, but makes 18 saves. Does what he needs to do, makes some key saves down the stretch. And again, no lead is safe. The swings of momentum in this series. I don't know if we've ever seen this many swings and this many chances. And even if it's not a shot on goal, it's a really good scoring chance. And sometimes there are lulls in the game where you thought it was going to be how things were going to play out, but then they ramp it up, and next thing you know, there's like half dozen scoring chances going both ways. But here we go. She's now a best of 3 with game number 5 back in Carolina. So they've got home ice 2 out of 3 here. We're going to touch on that a fair bit over the course of the morning, as you can imagine, but the soap opera that is the Edmonton Oilers, and I'm sure our text line is going to be quite busy as well. 833-401-1440. Yes, the soap opera that is the Edmonton Oilers and the coaching search continues. Are the Oilers could they be the first team to try and hire 2 head coaches in less than a month with pretty extensive, resumes, Stanley Cups, Olympics, the whole bit. Are they going to be the first team in probably NHL history to try to hire two head coaches in less than a month and see them both backfire on them, which is turning this into a clown show that we have not seen ever before? Because there's more developments that came out last night regarding Mike Babcock. You heard Bob Stauffer say that this is the guy. He's 100% the guy. And now the NHLPA is wading in to this subject. You may have heard, I assume you heard last night, that the NHLPA would like an investigation into what happened with Mike Babcock and the player privacy investigation that they want to have. So please, I just don't know how to explain this. How can you explain hiring a guy in Mike Babcock if the NHLPA wants an investigation into this Columbus player's privacy? Then a few reports last night, one from Pierre Lebrun says, well, if they don't hire him, there's no investigation. So in order for there to be an investigation, according to Pierre Lebrun in his article, you have to hire him. So how can you hire a guy and see what happens in this investigation and something comes up? And then you go, well, I guess he's not our guy. Frank Saravalli is a little different wording on his last night, saying that the NHLPA requested a delay in hiring until this investigation is complete. So again, what's happened to this organization and what they've done in the last month? Think about this. A year ago, this team was in the same exact position that the Carolina Hurricanes are in right now, down to a best of 3 in the Stanley Cup final with home ice. And look at what has happened in the last year. And go back to 2 years ago. So they're in Game 7. They're a goal away from sending it to overtime. So what has happened to this organization in the last year? Or go back 2 if you want. But let's just look at the last year, because they are in the exact same position that the Carolina Hurricanes are in right now, with a chance to win the Stanley Cup in a best of 3. Well, at the end of April, they lose to Anaheim. This goes, a little bit before. You could even talk about what happened in February and March with their 2 main players, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, calling out the coach. But then after this loss to Anaheim, they set their sights on Bruce Cassidy, and they put the cart before the horse. They didn't even have a coaching vacancy. They had no coaching vacancy. Frank Saravalli puts it out on May the 12th that the Oilers asked permission to talk to Bruce Cassidy. Vegas says, that's not going to happen right now. So now, they're in no man's land. Everyone knows they want Bruce Cassidy, but they still have a head coach. So basically, they have no choice but to fire Chris Knobloch. That happened 2 days later on the 14th of May. Stan Bowman said, a thorough review was done. We need a different voice. Mid-May, the Oilers still don't know anything about Cassidy. The statement comes out from the Coaches Association, trying to maybe sway things. 3 days later, Kelly McCrimmon says, hey, we're focused on the Stanley Cup playoffs. The teams should respect that. We've talked to Bruce Cassidy. He understands. May 28th, Kelly McCrimmon goes on overdrive in Toronto and says, you know what? The Oilers leaked this. Why would he say that? He had no reason to say that. What was the purpose? Well, just to keep throwing sand on this organization's face, because it's been smelly. It's been smelly here. There was no rebuttal from the Oilers. What's the purpose of the Oilers leaking it? Well, I said this on this program. I think it's because they felt that being leaked could sway the organization in Vegas and the NHL into possibly giving them permission to talk to Cassidy. The NHL execs say that Vegas is within their rights at that time. And then around this time is when the Mike Babcock names started swirling and his name started popping up. Darren Dreger sent a thing out and said, no, and talked to Mike. He's on vacation, permanently retired. He's loving it. But then Bob and Frank started really getting into it. And then that's when this happened this week, when Stauffer said on his show that Babcock is 100% the Oilers guy, 100% backing from everyone in the organization, from the owner to management to players. This is inevitable. Only one problem. Again, putting the cart before the horse. Not enough due diligence. The Oilers did not take into, I guess, consideration that the NHLPA could make a move and say, no, we want to go forward with an investigation with what happened in Columbus, because it was never done. The investigation was never done because Mike Babcock resigned. He was compensated, according to Frank Saravalli, when he resigned. Not to the extent of his full contract, but he was compensated. So when you say there is a reason that no team has looked at Mike Babcock since 2023, the cherry on top here, again, the cherry on top is saying from Pierre LeBrun last night that you have to await word from the Oilers to see if they're going to hire Mike Babcock for the NHL to pursue an investigation. So you got to hire him before an investigation happens. Frank Saravalli's a little different, saying that the NHLPA has requested a delay in hiring until an investigation is completed. Again, I can't say how disappointing this organization has looked to this community, to the league. I think people are looking at this organization, looking at management, looking at ownership, and laughing. Let's welcome in the Duke of Delburne, 7:12 in the morning. Duke, that was a bit of a rant for me there, but
a warranted one, I think.
I think I'm just tired of it, Duke. I'm tired of it.
Well, we've been at it a couple days consecutive here, right? Of this story percolating and starting off with not a ton of wind or validity, and that goes back to when the name was first crested, like I said, about a month ago or so.
Yeah.
And fast forward to yesterday, where on this station we had 11 hours of on-air programming, and I would say 9.5 of them were exclusively dedicated to talking about this specific topic.
And then, so when you look at it with Cassidy, and you add again, I don't know, has this ever happened before where a team, and again, you had no coaching vacancy. That's how this gong show started. So with Cassidy, now Babcock, and both of these are exploding, have exploded, are exploding right in their faces. It's unbelievable. But watching the Vegas game, Duke, it's sad. It's sad that we have to talk 10 minutes about the buffoonery here.
Yeah.
Because this hockey's been great. It's tied at 2. Jordan Stahl's playing like I've never seen a guy play so hard. Jordan, what did John Tortorella say? The guy's killing us in front of the net.
Yeah, I think that was the verbatim quote in his postgame, along with the microphone issues that he had to endure. But no, like you look at a guy like that who's been in the league so long, and he won a Stanley Cup in his second season, in the third season would have been in the league, right? He was a rookie in 06, 07. So second or third year, whatever. But
9,
and so now being with Carolina as long as he has been, and so close to getting back to that pinnacle of playing a Stanley Cup final with 3 trips to the conference finals, and really coming up grandiosely short in each of those trips. And now he's like, to hate to use the cliche after last year's, like he's laying it on the line. He's full triumph mode out there.
He's just unreal.
And that's what you want from a captain. He's also putting together an all-time playoff beard out there with that absolute like mass that is on his face. Great to see Brandon Bussey. I don't know if you would describe his play as spectacular, but he was rock solid. Obviously, wasn't nearly as busy as Carter. Third period, he was excellent. Stopped all 9 that he faced as they were tie game, got the lead, and then protected it late. And then I don't know if you had a chance to see it in the post game, Kev Bussey's outside the locker room interview with Kyle Buskowski, and they show him the clip of his parents celebrating the crowd, and gets a little emotional for a guy that has been really unheralded. We talked about this back earlier in the year with guys out of Florida, guys out of Carolina, about it was a waiver claim. And then he emerges as a guy that essentially saves the Hurricanes season because Anderson, worst statistical season of his career, Kochetkov can't stay healthy, all these factors. And you have this real unknown step in and just play exceptionally all year long for a first place team. So, and then you get a first Stanley Cup playoff start. It's in the Cup final,
April 14th.
In a series where you're essentially on the brink. If you lose this game, you are in a bad spot. And he plays quite well.
Hasn't played in 2 months, a start. He obviously had the relief job in game 3, but April 14th, last start. Simply amazing. We'll get you two, you and Josh Fenwick, to regale us with your stories from the Riverhawks game last night. They lose to Victoria 4-0. The Jays beat Philadelphia 3-2 thanks to Brandon Valenzuela. 9th inning walk-off single. So we got lots to discuss, including the World Cup, because the World Cup is getting underway here tomorrow and gets underway Friday for Canada. We got Lucas Weiss from The Athletic. He's covering the World Cup. He's in Toronto covering Team Canada as they get ready for Bosnia-Herzegovina on Friday afternoon. We got Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. At 8 o'clock, we will divulge and digest the old NBA final with Paul Sir from Hoop City at 8:20, another edition of Cam and Eggs. It'll be interesting to see what David Schlemko thinks of what's been going on with the Oilers again here. He'll be our co-host from 9 to 11. We got Matt Larkin from the Daily Faceoff. And then a special ad, Brett Hedican sliding in at 10:20. It's 20 years ago when Brett Hedican was a member of the Carolina Hurricanes. And they defeated the Oilers in 7 games. And now he's working in the Anaheim Ducks organization in San Diego in player development. When we come back, Lucas Weiss from The Athletic covering the World Cup on the Kevin Carey Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
Our new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more, like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream, all swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Ready to upgrade your ride this spring? Come on down to the Golf Cart People. They're a family-owned and operated business that's been serving the community since '97. Whether you're looking for a brand new or quality pre-owned cart, a rental for a special event, they do that too. The Golf Cart People have a huge selection of parts and accessories, and their expert service team is here to keep you rolling. The Golf Cart People, your one-stop shop for everything golf cart. Visit golfcartpeople.com.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of. like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 7:21 in Edmonton. And boy, the World Cup is right around the corner. Canada will open up the tournament on Friday against Bosnia-Herzegovina in Toronto. And we're excited to get things rolling this week with Lucas Weiss from The Athletic. Good morning, Lucas. You're with Kevin Karius. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Kevin, thanks for having me. World Cup, one day away from starting. An exciting summer of soccer ahead. Great to be chatting with you.
Can't wait for it. But what about for you here, Lucas? How cool is this going to be for you covering this with The Athletic, based in Toronto and getting ready for Friday's game and the rest of the tournament? How cool is it for you?
Super cool. I mean, the World Cup is the biggest soccer tournament in the world. It's one of the biggest sporting events in the world. It happens once every 4 years. And to be able to be on the ground here in my home city of Toronto that's hosting its first ever Men's World Cup. There'll be 6 matches here, including Canada's opening World Cup match and a round of 32 match. So it's just going to be exciting to see how it all unfolds. I think for sports fans, it's been 8 years in the making. It was in 2018 that this became official that Canada, United States, and Mexico would be hosting. And now it's real life. And I think that it's been a bit of a tumultuous lead up with a lot of off the field concerns, and rightfully so. But now that it's here, I think once the action kicks off, it's just going to be super exciting for sports fans and people like myself covering and chronicling this historic event. So very excited, looking forward to get it going on Thursday and Friday here in Toronto.
You betcha. Lucas Weiss with us on Sports 1440. Here in Edmonton, as you can imagine, Lucas, the main topic of conversation is the availability of Alphonso Davies. What can you tell us? Any sort of an update? Is there a chance that he can get in here, in the days to come? Not necessarily Friday, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so they're training here in Toronto before their match on Friday. Of course, Alphonso Davies is in return to play mode, so he's practicing separate from the team. He's not, practicing with the team like a lot of the players would if they were healthy. So, like you said, Kev, I'd be very surprised if Davies plays on Friday. I think Jesse Marsh is trying to hold out as much hope as possible, and you have to admire him for that. Davies is Canada's best player. He's their captain, and maybe you wake up one day, like Alphonso Davies said, and miracles happen and things get better. But you have to keep the athlete's health in mind. He did re-aggravate the hamstring. It's a serious injury. So I'd be shocked if he plays on Friday. I do believe, though, that we're going to see Alphonso Davies at some point in this tournament. When, though, is going to be very fascinating, because it could be against Qatar and Vancouver. But if Canada, that's a winnable match for Canada. And if they get through that match and are already through to the knockout stage, do you put him in against a tough opponent like Switzerland, or do you give him more rest so that he's ready to go for the knockout round. So a lot of questions are going to be swirling around this situation. Of course, it's not ideal that he's not able to play in that Friday opening World Cup match in front of the fans if that is the case. But hopefully we get to see him at some point in this tournament because, like I said, he is Canada's best player.
So replacement for Alphonse to start things off here. In your mind, who would be the guy or guys that come into play to help him on the left side there?
Well, right now it looks like Luc Dufour-Joel, right? I mean, and he's, certainly someone that's, wanting to, get in there, and he's a really young player. I mean, he's going to be one of Canada's youngest players, so he's, going to be, he's going to be playing, of course. And the midfield is in a good spot right now with Ismail Kone, Tejan Buchanan. This is a team that, I really do think that Kone is going to be a player that a lot of people are going to get to know even more so during this tournament. So, watch out for him. But I actually think, Kev, that, as much as, people are thinking, Davies is such a big loss for this team, and he certainly is. But I just think the biggest concern right now for Canada is where are they going to score goals? Because I just think that it has been quite a concern seeing Jonathan David, Kyle Larin not performing up to their potential. Of course, I mean, the lack of finishing is just something that is really going to hurt Canada, I feel like, in this tournament. Now, I know Jesse Marsh is trying to be positive. He's saying that the goals are going to come, but they haven't come yet. And to me, if they don't score, they're not going to get out of the group stage, which would be a big disaster. So it's going to be fascinating to see what Marsh decides in terms of how he sets up his lineup. Of course, this team has experience playing without Alphonso Davies, but I just think the bigger concern is up front with the strikers. Right. Can they find a way to finish?
Lucas Weiss from The Athletic, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440 AM radio. So having said all that, Lucas, does Jesse Marsh institute a different style of play if the offense isn't coming?
Well, that's such a fair question, but I just think that, Marsh is going to be stuck in his ways with the 4-2-2 setup. Like, I just think that as much as, to me, like, I think watching, like, it would be fascinating to see if they just leave Jonathan David up front there as the lone striker. I just think Marsh likes, to have both strikers up there. I think he trusts Larin, given Larin's pedigree with this program. Of course, Jonathan David, he's had an up and down season with Juventus at the club level. But I think that, if he can unlock something like he did at Copa America a couple years ago, it can really, really allow this team to thrive. So it'll be fascinating to see because, managers, adjustments, can they happen? Will they happen? But I think right now, I just think they're going to stick with the same setup with, that 4-2-2 and go with the two strikers up top.
When Jaden Nelson scored that goal here at Commonwealth Stadium, Lucas, against Uzbekistan in that pre-tournament game, the whole place erupted, but the commentators, when I was listening to them, is that enough for him to solidify a spot on the roster? And maybe it did. If that was the final tipping point, maybe just discuss his addition to the roster in place of Marcelo Flores.
Well, first of all, to that point about, Marcelo Flores, obviously, it's something that, it's just too bad. And it just adds to that line of injuries. Of course, Flores gets named to the roster and then a day later ruptures his ACL. So obviously wish him all the best. But what an opportunity, right, for Jaden Nelson. This is someone that nearly a decade earlier, Kev, joined Toronto FC's academy. And he was one of these young pieces from Brampton, Ontario. And now a decade later, he's practicing on the TFC training grounds, preparing for Bosnia. And he was saying, to the media yesterday, he's someone with big dreams, and he's here and relishing this opportunity. And this is someone that has 2 goals over 10 MLS matches with Austin FC this season. He scored 3 times in 14 appearances for Canada's team. And you could even see how the players have reacted to this news. I mean, Liam Miller saying that he's been really sharp, that he deserves this opportunity, that they need players willing to take more risks and do whatever it takes to get a goal. And anyone who watched that Uzbekistan friendly saw this, this player, he just jumped off. He just jumped off the pitch, jumped off the screen in terms of his, in terms of his speed and his ability to run on the pitch. So a huge opportunity for Nelson, and hopefully we get to see him in some critical minutes during this World Cup.
Do you think we will, Lucas? Some critical minutes?
I hope so. I mean, I would love to see it. I mean, it's certainly, to me, I'm always a fan when I'm watching these matches of that player who gets subbed in the second half, who just has this burst of speed, right? We saw it with him. We saw it with Promise David, too, when he subbed into that Uzbekistan friendly where he nearly, he scores the goal, but it was called offside, but the ball's in the back of the net. Because, look, these are big moments, right? And you need guys who are willing to come in and really elevate the team and give that team confidence, especially if it is a draw situation and you need a goal, or you're down a goal and need to get a draw. I mean, results are paramount, Kev, in the group stage, as you know, and your listeners know. Yeah. So anyone who can come on and give that, boost of energy to the squad, I would take it. And Jay Nelson could be that guy.
Lucas Weiss from The Athletic, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show here on Sports 1440. What can you tell our listeners about Bosnia-Herzegovina? What kind of side do they have after beating Italy in penalty kicks? And I'm sure everyone just assumed Italy was going to be, part of this group.
Wow. When people thought that they would be a team that, would face Canada, everyone was circling this, and it was going to be Italy. It was going to be Italy, but Italy hasn't made the World Cup in 3 straight World Cups. But you have to give Bosnia a lot of credit. And I think that this is a team that, that they're just very pesky, right? I mean, they're a team that has a counter-attacking style. As Jesse Marsh said, they like to score from defense. They like to score from the set pieces. So it's going to be critical for Canada to not commit careless fouls that give Bosnia an opportunity to really, get set up with the set piece and then take advantage of Canada. And this is where the center back, position, depth position of Canada is a real question right now. I mean, Moise Bombito, Ralph Priso, their availability is in question. I mean, they're in modified training right now. And if you make a defensive mistake in the World Cup, Kev, you're gonna pay for it. And it could be a goal, it could be, a free kick possibility. So Bosnia's a team that's going to want to counterattack. They're going to want to play a very stingy game and wait for that moment to pounce. And they wear teams down. They wore Italy down. I mean, Italy was a team, they were going into that match confident. It just felt like as the match went on that Bosnia just, controlled the pace, controlled the game. So it's going to be fascinating to see. I mean, they're dealing with some injury concerns as well, like Canada. And, of course, they're going to be dealing with a very raucous atmosphere at Toronto Stadium, formerly known as BMO Field. So I think for Bosnia and for Canada, it's just, can you weather that? Can you weather those first few moments and then weather that storm where Bosnia is just wearing you down? Can you find a way to, still control possession because they're going to want to counterattack and beat you on the set pieces?
What kind of, it's going to be a pro-Canada crowd, everyone knows that, but what kind of support do you think BH will have?
I think they're going to have a good, contingent of supporters, Kev. I mean, certainly not what Italy would have been. Like, I think if it were Italy, it just would have really been a scene to see the red and blue. But I think that there's a real strong population of Bosnian fans who are not only based here in the Toronto GTA, but who have made the trip for this moment. I mean, this is a historic moment for this country. I mean, playing in this World Cup. So they're going to, there's going to be a Bosnian contingent. You've seen it already in some of the images and clips when the Bosnian team came, and certainly at their training, they had a lot of people come out to Centennial Park in Etobicoke to support them. So, look, Canada's certainly going to be overwhelming the fan support, but I think there's going to be a good contingent of Bosnian fans as well who want to see their team potentially get a result here to start Group B action.
One last one with the World Cup. Are you starting to feel the vibe, to get to the crescendo that we're hoping in Toronto and across the country? Has it taken a little while to build up? Where are we at? What are you feeling there in Toronto?
I think the vibes have really built up here in Toronto. Certainly, I would think over the last month, and certainly have crescendo these last couple of weeks. I think once the stadium got, set up, they put this signage around the stadium advertising the World Cup. There have been signs around the city directing fans to the stadium, to the Fan Fest. I just think it's going to be something, Kev, that it's going to be one of those historic sporting moments in Toronto and this country on Friday. I think it can rival what the Blue Jays did last year, some of the Olympic Games that Canada has hosted in the past. And I just think it's going to even build, especially if Canada can get out of the group stage for the first time in the World Cup and if they could potentially win a knockout stage game. I just think it's going to be a great scene coast to coast. And the thing too about the World Cup is, obviously going, to the stadium would be a huge thrill for fans. Unfortunately, ticket prices right now still very high, which is an unfortunate reality. But I think the World Cup is special when it's outside the stadium, going to the Fan Fest, going to the watch parties, going to your local restaurant or bar to watch the game. So it's going to really bring fans together. It's on at a perfect time zone here. I mean, you're not having to wake up super early or stay up super duper late to watch these matches. So I think that, again, once it's going to kick off, I think it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. And you're already starting to see in Toronto, it's building. I think Friday is going to be a scene that we're going to talk about for years to come in this city and country.
I have to ask you one tennis question, Lucas, because of what happened last night with Serena Williams, Victoria Mboko, doubles playing in London at the Queen's Club. First match with 1,375 days in between for Serena, but her and the 19-year-old Canadian Victoria Mboko win. That I can't imagine what that would have been like to witness that 23-time Grand Slam singles champion and doubles champion as well, obviously. But to see that last night after a long, long layoff, that would have been simply amazing.
What a scene it was at the Queen's Club, and what a moment for Victoria Mboko. I mean, to think in the last year, she went from 300th in the world to the top 10. She won the Canadian Open in Montreal. And now, oh, by the way, you're going to be playing with Serena Williams, arguably, the greatest women's tennis player of all time in doubles in her comeback. Like, it's just a remarkable, she must pinch herself at times, when you can think about, what her life has turned into. But what a moment for tennis and women's sport. I mean, for Serena Williams, people thought when she left at the U.S. Open 4 years ago, she gave an emotional goodbye that was going to be the end. But I think that you have to give her credit for wanting to have that itch to come back. And it wasn't a perfect match for her by any means, but you have to give her a passing grade for her to be able to still show flashes of her brilliance that made her a 23-time slam singles champion, multiple-time doubles slam champion. And I just think it's going to be fascinating to see, right? I mean, do we see her at Wimbledon? Do we see her at the U.S. Open? And fans are going to travel to see Serena Williams play. And I think what's even more special to me, Kev, is that her daughter, especially her eldest, Olympia, is able to see her play professional tennis live. And that's why Serena came back. A large part of her motivation was to show that, her daughters, that she could still play tennis at a very high level. And I think that that's just such a special moment for the family and for her to be able, as a mother, to experience that for her kids. Yeah. So you can't fault her for wanting to come back. And I just can't wait to see what this ride is going to produce.
It's going to be very interesting. Hey, Lucas, thanks so much for coming on. Enjoy the World Cup again starting tomorrow, but more specifically for Canada on Friday against Bosnia-Herzegovina. It's going to be a hell of a couple of weeks. So as always, thanks for coming on, Lucas. Take care.
My pleasure, Kevin. Have a great day.
Lucas Weiss from The Athletic. Again, World Cup of Soccer gets underway tomorrow. But for Canada, it is on Friday against Bosnia-Herzegovina in Toronto. It's an afternoon tilt. It's going to be exciting. And to get off to a good start, again, in the round-robin play, so critical for Canada. Coming up at 7:40-ish, right after the break, a little bit later than that because it is 7:40 now. We will get to some of your texts, 833-401-1440. Got to ask the Duke and Josh Fenwick about their wild night at Remax Field. And then at 8 o'clock, Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. It's the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. I've got some good news. If you've been thinking about a heavy-duty truck, the 2026 Ram 2500 Black Express is now at St. Albert Dodge. You've got 20-inch black aluminum wheels, black Mopar side steps, body color, bumpers and grille, and a sport performance hood. Available in all the colors for $68,990. Plus, new this year, Ram's best-in-class 10-year powertrain warranty. Now's the time. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Greger for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
Saturday, June 20th is the day to be at Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail. Come live the legend because the HD semi-truck is rolling in, bringing you the exclusive chance to test ride the powerful new 2026 models. All you need is your riding gear and Class 6 license to ride. Be there to enter to win a 2026 Liberty Edition Heritage Classic, door prizes, and more. Don't miss the ultimate ride event of the summer. Locally owned and operated since 1980. Visit Harley-Davidson of Edmonton on the Yellowhead Trail or at hdedmonton.com.
Today on Hey Culligan, how smart is your water? Here's Tracy.
Hey, Culligan. I think my water might be dumb.
Good news, Tracy. Your water's not dumb. It's just not talking to you.
You can make my water talk.
No, but the new Culligan Smart Drinking Water System can talk to your phone to tell you when your water filters need changing and help you meet drinking water goals.
Now that's some brilliant H2O.
You said it, Tracy, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at culligan.ca.
You wanted local sports on weekends. Saturday mornings at 9, check out the Saturday Sports Setup, where we'll tee up what's happening on the weekend sports scene. Tune in Saturday morning at 9 on Sports 1440.
Your favorite teams, your favorite sports. This spring, catch all the action at Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house. The finals are here, and Selly's has game day food and drink specials, plus a championship menu with something for everyone. From great goals to thrilling three-pointers to huge home runs. Spring brings the best to the big screens at Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino. Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
You're listening to Sports 1440 and watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Sports 24/7. We are Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 744 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. Text at 833-401-1440. Just discussing the Serena Williams, Victoria Mboko doubles win. And Lucas was talking about, Serena's kids watching her. And the King of Fort Nasty texts in, good morning, Duke, Fenny, KK. The Duke hopes that one day his kids will get to watch him doing professional 4-H judging. Could this possibly be true down the road, Duke?
I kind of doubt it. If I haven't been asked already at this point, I think my time has passed. I'm not in the industry anymore. They usually try and get actually active members of the beef and agriculture communities, which I...
Could you judge it?
I like to think I still could. Back when I was involved and through my 4-H years and during that time, a lot of judging events, I did very well. I, in fact, was a runner-up at the provincial heifer show in Olds one summer when I was 16 years old. So that was probably my crowning achievement. I love it. I love judging cattle. And
if you would have won provincials, would you have went to Canadians?
Good question.
Western Canadians?
Well, so when I was 9 or 10, it was actually my first or second year of 4-H. I went to a summer show, the Olds Provincial Heifer Show, and in team judging there, where you have a partner, and it was a random person I got paired with. You do team judging, so it's like show ring judging, as opposed to just evaluating a class and then writing them down, placing them kind of written reasons instead of actually speaking on a mic, talking to a crowd and stuff. So I actually did go to Western Canadian finals team judging when I was about 10.
Did you have that, like the stick that they have, the sort of the pointer? And
That's, I think,
what is that thing
no,
called?
they don't use that.
They don't? Oh,
no.
Just in the movies?
I guess so. And I know when you're showing pigs or swine, you have a stick, like as one of the show people, like that you kind of help to move them. And then if you're showing cattle, you have a show stick that helps you set the feet up, scratch them, keep them relaxed in the ring, stuff like that. But no, I've never seen a judge have any sort of cane or pointing stick.
Babe the pig?
No, not quite.
Old Hob, what was the guy's, whatever his name
I can't remember. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Pointing to this.
There's only, you just like watch that movie so much as a kid, and the only thing that stands out from it in memory is like, that'll do, pig.
Yeah, that'll do, pig.
Yeah,
that'll do.
It's the only part that I remember. And then the fracas they cause in the house with the lady.
The duck and whatever.
Yeah.
Too, yeah. Well, you two pigs went to Remax Field last night to see the Riverhawks drop a tough one to Victoria 4-0. But you had I saw some pictures when I was going through some prep work last night. Josh Fenwick had the rally hat on in the 9th inning, but it didn't seem to help. What happened, you guys?
Well, they did get a hit in the 9th.
Okay.
For their third of the game and final. So that was very unfortunate. I will sort of come to the Duke's aid here. He was not the pig. I 100% was. I put down all of it. We recorded some content of us trying out some of their new menu items. All very good.
Yeah.
And like he indulged a little bit in the nachos and whatever, but once he was done taking a bite out of that churro dog for the video, he sort of left it to me and Mackenzie, and then Mackenzie just passed it over to me.
and that was actually about how it went for each of the food items we had, where each of us got a sample, a few extra bites, get our fill, and then the remnants of it, the bottom of this nacho ball helmet that I have on now, if you're watching on feed, there's the bottom of it after we all picked through it, and then Josh just shoveled, I actually asked if we could get him a shovel to finish cleaning it up. But yeah, big thanks to the Riverhawks for having us out. Mackenzie kind of put it all together to film some content. So keep an eye out for that coming up on our social channels, probably within the next few days, I would think, as we reviewed some of the menu items.
So what
had a
were
few
the
good laughs, all that
best,
jazz.
the best food, like samples?
So naturally we started off with some toonie dogs.
Oh, yeah.
That's just the standard. We had to get our gullets warmed up along with a nice cold, crisp, refreshing beer each.
Correct.
So that was excellent. And then after that, we had the nachos that came in the helmet. We had the churro hot dog,
The
Oreo
Oreo
churro hot dog. No dog in that. It's just a churro in the beignet. That was awesome. Super impressive. And then we had one of their dirty sodas. Are you familiar with this, Kevin?
No, it isn't.
It's become quite the craze out of Utah. It's like a Mormon thing, I believe. It's because they can't have coffee, but they can have soda, but they're not allowed caffeine. So it's usually made traditionally with Dr. Pepper, which doesn't have any caffeine.
Yeah.
It's now extrapolated to include all types of soda and tons of sugar and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it's essentially soda and then cream. You put it in like milk or whole cream. What I don't know precisely. This one we had last night was like a coconut kind of flavor one. I love the flavor of coconut, so that was really good too. And then Josh went back for more hot dogs. He went back for 4.
I was going to buy 4.
only to get turned away and told he could only have 1.
Well,
they were limiting him.
They didn't say I could only have 1. They said we've only found 1 hot dog left, and I said, fine.
They probably found that under one of the bleachers, just like Karius left those ones for me that one game. I ate it. Yeah. Oh, I had it. It was still good.
Yeah,
it was still good. So
3-4 innings later, it was wrapped in foil. Dude.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
Still
but
fine.
no, it was a great night at the park. Little drizzly to start,
Yeah.
but turned into a beautiful evening. And then it was actually a little drizzly again as I was driving home. I dipped in the 7th inning. Josh and Mac toughed it out for the entirety, so credit to them.
Did Mac try the 9 and 9?
No, we were talking about that and decide. I told her she could because I gave her a ride down there because we were both coming here from the West End, and then her boyfriend works for the team, so he was giving her a ride home after the game. I was like, Mac, you're kind of free and clear. You can absolutely get after it tonight. We'll happily film you doing the 9 and 9 challenge. And she said we'll save that for maybe a Friday or Saturday game. We can get kind of the whole crew of 1440 there. You, Tide, Gregor, Conman, Deck. Then, of course, Josh and myself, Donnie, maybe too. We'll get everybody down there and we'll all do it and see who can survive it.
Oh, yeah.
I said we'll need an extra cameraman to get Josh, the footage of Josh in the bathroom emptying his guts.
No, sir.
Halfway through. He can't handle his brown.
Well, good thing it's not brown. It's just beer.
Ale.
Have we got like a school special for the Riverhawks today? Is it like
it's school spirit and mascot day. I'm not too sure. I
so
have
11 o'clock, 11:05, right?
morning first pitch.
Yeah.
So I have to think that there was probably tons of coordination with schools around the city to get some tickets on the in bulk for classes and programs and whatnot. So yeah, it's essentially the equivalent of the hockey hooky that the Oil Kings kind of do, right? Where
Correct.
You get to head out in the middle of the day and go take in an awesome local sporting event. So
Tim
hopefully
says
they get
you guys
more
omitted
hits.
Eddie Steele. I mean, Eddie would have been in here. Come on now.
for what, our 999?
Well, I guess that's
well, I'll
what
tell you
Tim
what,
was talking about,
he
yeah.
can. Eddie can eat the 9 hot dogs. I'll drink the 9 beers.
Fair,
we'll do
yeah.
it. We'll do it as a team.
Army Daryl, our buddy, says, I wanted to do the 9 and 9 and 9. But here's the thing, Army Daryl would sneak in somehow. Just like he sneaked into the VIP room and bellied up to the buffet. Oh, man.
Would he sneak in 9 warm Pilsners, Kev?
Yeah, 9 warm pill.
And if Armidale's trying to sneak in, I could probably help him because so the Riverhawks, they set us up with the media passes, which they didn't do any different than a ticket, just got us in the door. Otherwise, it was really inconsequential for the rest of the night. But they asked that we, drop them in like a bucket so they can reuse the same placard lanyard type thing for future media. And I completely walked out the gate with mine still around my neck like an idiot. And I even, right before I left, I asked Mackenzie, hey, where was that bucket they said to drop these in again? Okay, yeah, perfect. I'll walk right past it. And then straight out the door, across the street, I'm already halfway home and I realize it's still around my neck. So I'll have to coordinate with Mac to get that back down to our friends at Remax.
Hopefully the Riverhawks can get back on track. 11:05 this morning if you want to head down and watch a little sort of late morning, afternoon baseball. Toronto Blue Jays, you got to tip their hat to them after coming back to beat the Philadelphia Phillies last night, scoring 2 runs in the ninth inning. They trailed 2-1, and Philadelphia's got a hell of a closer in Johan Duran. He's been really, really good this year, but he gave up a wild pitch, pass ball, whatever you want to call it, gave up the 2 earned runs in the ninth inning, didn't record an out. And again, Brandon Valenzuela gets the game-winning walk-off hit, a little slash single to left field. Dylan Cease was really good again, coming back off injured reserve, went 6 innings through, his command was exceptional. He had 1 walk. He had 11 Ks. So his whiff rate was good. His swing and miss was really good. Zach Wheeler was just as efficient on the other side. So it was a really good pitcher's duel when you think about it for, 8 innings, because it was 1-1 heading to the ninth when the Phillies took the 2-1 lead and the Blue Jays got the 2 in the bottom of the ninth. Hats off to another batter that's done quite exceptionally well is Jesus Sanchez. Sanchez hit his 7th home run of the season. So he's one of the guys that's been a nice surprise. Vladimir Guerrero batted in the leadoff spot, really did nothing again yesterday, had an infield hit, went 1 for 4. They rested George Springer. We'll see if he goes back into the DH role. And Vladdy actually didn't play first base. He DH'd yesterday. They threw the young guy McAdoo at first base yesterday. So we'll see what the Jays can do as this series wraps up tonight, 5:07. And we've got it right here for you on Sports 1440 AM radio. Coming up at the top of the hour, we got Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Lots to discuss with Spec. And I got it. Someone texted me too and said I owe Spec's daughter an apology after yesterday. So I'll have to do that as well. And you know what? I got a great picture that Butch Bell, Specs, he's a friend of Specs and he's from my hometown. Butch Bell sent me a picture. I got to show you this and you guys will not believe it. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by AWS Welding Supplies in Nisku. Product sales, servicing, calibrating, free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. Your one-stop shop for all things welding. AWSwelding.ca. Here is the Duke.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Stanley Cup final knotted at 2 games apiece. Headed back to Raleigh. It's a best of 3 as the Hurricanes take Game 4 5-3 over the Golden Knights from Las Vegas. Captain Jordan Staal scoring twice. Nick Ehlers tacked on the empty netter, and Brandon Bussey in his Stanley Cup playoff debut start, making 18 saves for the victory. In the Oilers' ongoing coaching saga later last night, several insiders reporting that the NHLPA has asked the league to move forward with an investigation into the allegations Mike Babcock invaded players' privacy during his tenure in Columbus. Reports suggest that any investigation would hold up the potential hiring of Babcock here with the Oilers. Also off the ice, Colorado Avalanche captain Gabe Landeskog has been named this year's winner for both the Bill Masterton Trophy and Mark Messier Leadership Award. The Masterton Trophy, the player best exemplifying the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to the game of hockey. In the majors last night, the Blue Jays get one back over the Phillies, 3-2 the final. Brandon Valenzuela had a walk-off single in the bottom of the 9th. Dylan Cease in his return to the lineup did not skip a beat as he struck out 11 over 6 innings of work. Edmonton Riverhawks fall last night 4-0 in the hands of the Victoria Harbor Cats, but they're right back at it this morning, 11:05 first pitch for their school Spirit Day. Coming up in hour 2, the Kevin Karius Show. We'll be joined by Sportsnet's Mark Spector, as well as Paul Sir from Hoop City, and here's today's edition of Cam and Eggs. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This deal's only good till 6 o'clock tonight. We need your credit card to hold the color. Hold the color. Summer package. Winter package. And the ever-famous re-PDI fee. I gotta pay you to rebuild the car? Does this sound familiar? At Northgate, we do things differently. We offer 0% financing, a great selection of new, pre-owned vehicles. So if you'd like to do business a different way, stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job, from home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs. We're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the Sports Talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
Think a quality golf cart is out of your budget? Think again. At the Golf Cart People, we have a fantastic selection of fully inspected, pre-owned carts starting at just $4,500. Choose from gas, electric, or lithium-ion power to fit your lifestyle. And the best part, every used cart comes with a 1-year warranty for total peace of mind. Why wait? Get the cart you've always wanted today. Visit the Golf Cart People. Find out more at golfcartpeople.com.
Alberta is growing, but our highways are crumbling. Are you tired of the rough ride? In the last 15 years, our population has grown with hundreds of thousands more cars and trucks on our highways. Today, more than 15% of Alberta's highways are in poor condition. Cutting highway maintenance doesn't save money. It makes repairs more expensive. Don't let the government ignore the problem. Your MLA works for you. Tell them to fix our roads. Visit fixourroads.com for more information.
A message from the Alberta Road Builders and Heavy Construction Association.
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:01 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne with you. Josh Fenwick on a Wednesday morning, and a little kind of gray, a little cloudy out there this morning. Going to have a couple showers maybe today and tomorrow, but after that, hopefully the weekend is looking good. Time now for On the Mark, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. The June Road Trip Ready event is here. It's the biggest sale of the year, too. You can enter for a chance to win free gas for the summer and weekly prizes like detailed packages or free tires, plus a $20 multi-point vehicle inspection to get you road trip ready. Check them out at northgategm.com as we welcome in Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. Good morning, Spec. Hello, Spec. Spec on the phone, or is he in the? He's in the video room. Hey, Spec, how you doing, big? Oh, look at this. He's got the Battle of Alberta behind him. Oh no, I think you might need to turn your mic on or someone. Can you hear us, Spec? We can't hear you, Spec. We'll figure that out in the next little bit as we try to get some audio for Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet. On the video feed on our YouTube channel, Spec has, for a guy that doesn't know much about the technological aspect of things, it's pretty impressive because, again, he has his Battle of Alberta book behind him. So he has superimposed himself in that. Can you hear us now, Spec?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now, big guy.
Okay.
We got you.
Something going wrong with the program here. My mic's turned on, but you weren't hearing me.
Yeah, no, we got you now. So you got your Battle of Alberta book behind you as you have been superimposed over this year.
Yeah. Well, it's better than a blank white wall. Usually I sit outside, but it's raining out here. So
is it?
I figured it's never too late to plug a 10-year-old book.
Oh, hey, but speaking of books, before I get to another subject, how about our buddy Butch Bell, who found this book in Iceland?
Yeah, I saw that. They're writing about you in Iceland, eh?
Well, I'll have to send the picture to Duke, and I don't know what the hell that means, to be honest with you. So, but it's some book that says Karius and then something else on the bottom. And
some other guy. The other guy must be me, the guy with the big, bad-looking red hair.
Pumpkinhead, yeah.
Yeah, Pumpkinhead. Yeah, that's me.
Well, that's what Butch said when he sent us that. Did he not? This is Karius and Spector in the 8 o'clock hour on Sports 1440.
He's one of these guys that him and his wife recently retired, and they just travel all over the world. It's like they're never home. I haven't seen him in months because except for pictures in some strange land.
Oh,
and
well, maybe that's where they were.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're in Iceland for sure.
Oh,
yeah. They're all over the place. And I mean, I feel like as a guy that flies a lot in my job, when I retire, all I want to do is stay home.
Get you. Yeah. So, well, I mean, all the Bells, I mean, we've talked about them. There's like about 7 kids, I think, in the family. And they, they lived about a block away from us in Melville, and they were all athletic, and they were all, good looking kids. And, and they all turned out to be hell of a, just a great family, great contributors, lawyers, doctors, dentists, everything. Holy, unreal.
Yes. Yeah, you know what? Little family out of Melville for sure. I don't know if Dad was part of things, but Mom was she was the rock star, and she raised 7 kids by herself. And every one of those kids is a productive, good person, made a great living, done well, helps, good in their community. Like, it's a Melville success story. I was going to say, what happened a couple doors down there?
I have no idea what happened. No idea. But hey, we had a hell of that crescent that we were on. Like Todd McClellan lived on that crescent. We had another guy, Drew Familak, was in that area, and he went on to coach 25 years in NCAA. A couple, like, no bad success story. So,
that's pretty good crescent.
Yeah. Someone was doing something right, letting the kids play late. Well, hey, Spec, I got to give your daughter an apology. You probably ducked out late yesterday after our hit.
I did. Yeah. What happened?
Well, I gave her a shot. I don't know. It just came out of my mouth. But you were down there for her graduation. And what was the graduation from, first of all?
A Masters of Music at University of Calgary.
Okay.
Her goal is to be a professor.
Okay, so for me, Spec, what I said was, I said I could only think of like high school, right? It was graduation. That's what I was thinking about. And I knew she was older, but I just said something to the effect that she graduated from grade 12. It was the best 4 years of her life in grade 12. So sorry to your daughter, Spec, because I got a couple texts yesterday. So you can't say that to Spec's daughter.
You know what? Haley grew up as Mark Spector's daughter, so she's heard worse. I think when you're in the orbit of a sports writer, you better have a thick skin, right? My kids grew up with a thick skin. We take a shot at each other and have a laugh, and you know what? That's a lesson in life right there. If that's the kind of thing that hurts your feelings, well, you better get stronger feelings, pal, because it's a tough world out there.
You want to talk that game 4 last night first here? I mean,
yeah, sure. Babcock, whatever you think. I watched the whole game last night, and it is like incredible the amount of exceptionally entertaining minutes in this series. Like, I don't know, they've played 4 games. That's, 240 minutes plus a couple more periods. Let's say we're at 300 minutes of hockey just for fun. I think like 270 of them have been, the score's been close. The game's been good. The play's been compelling. Like, there's no long stretches of dull hockey here. That game yesterday was contested from the very start to the very end, to the empty net goal. What a treat. What a like, if I'm Gary Bettman, I don't care what the ratings are. Ratings are largely based on what 2 uniforms are skating around out there. But the quality of the game I've covered, I don't know, probably near 20 Stanley Cups. And I'm not sure I've ever seen one as consistently entertaining as this one. It's just been a fantastic series.
Well, 33 goals scored in the first 4 games. 36 is the record, Spec. 36 in the first 4 games. So
when was that record set? In the 80s?
No, one was technically set back in 1918. I think it was the Toronto Arenas and maybe the Victoria Millionaires or something like that. And then there was one.
Okay. So that almost doesn't count, even though it counts.
But I mean, and not only, like we were talking about it earlier, like even when there's a little bit of a lull, all of a sudden it's just a jailbreak and there's scoring chances both sides. And if there's no shot on goal, it's still a wild scoring chance because maybe it's wide or a block or something. It's just that good.
It's just been great. Hockey's in a good place right now. A team like Carolina that snuffed the life out of their opponents for the first 3 rounds, and they don't do it the old way with hooking and holding and clutching and grabbing. They do it with foot speed and positioning, and it's a special team that can beat you, that can absolutely take the life out of the Montreal Canadiens the way Carolina did with their defensive posture.
Right.
But they can't do that against Vegas. Even probably the best defensive structured team in hockey today, the Carolina Hurricanes, they got to shoot and score here. They got to get to 4 or 5 to beat Vegas now, and that's what this cat wants anyway. I don't know what listeners out there are looking for in a hockey game.
Well,
but if I'm going to watch two teams that I'm not invested in, I want to see exciting hockey, and that's what I'm getting.
And I mean, the goal that Stahl scored for the game winner, and he's been phenomenal. I mean, unbelievable how he contorts his body. And then, like, for a guy like Brandon Bussey, hadn't started for 2 months almost. And for him to come in there, that's simply amazing as well.
Yeah, first playoff start in his life is in the Stanley Cup final, and he plays great and wins. You know, like there's just the hits keep coming here. Marner's, record-setting hat trick. Carolina scoring 3 in 39 seconds. Brandon Bussey coming out of the pen here. Jordan Stahl looking like he's, only 30 instead of 50 or whatever he is.
Wow, he's just a monster in front of the net.
Oh my God, he is. So it is at this time. Mark Stone, how good is he? Holy cow. Like, this guy looks like he's so slow until it's time to be fast, and then no one can catch him from behind. I don't know what's happening with Mark Stone, but when he cruises around like a glacier, and then when he gets a breakaway, no one catches him. I don't get it.
6th-round draft pick too. 6th-round draft.
Worst trade Otto ever made.
Oh, yeah. Got to get to Mike Babcock here, because now the reports last night about the NHLPA wanting to be involved with an investigation. I found it interesting, the two comments that are a little bit different from a couple of insiders in Frank Saravalli and Pierre LeBrun, where LeBrun is saying, well, there's no investigation until he gets hired. Frank said more to the extent of the NHL requested a delay in hiring until an investigation is complete. You can look at this both ways, but this is just another twist here in what is just getting to be a monotonous storyline for this organization.
Yeah, first of all, you can't tell a team you've got to hire him, and then we're going to tell you if he's allowed to coach. Like, that doesn't work. I get it.
Why do they want it? Why would they waste their time on an investigation then?
Well, I think you phone Bill Daly and say, we intend to hire him, so start your investigation. Like, I don't think the NHL does an investigation based on, he's on our short list. No. But, I don't think you write the contract and put it down on ink and paper and sign it and announce them and have a press conference and then say, okay, now we got to wait for the NHL, and it might take 6 months. Like, that's, this is, I don't know. Listen, it takes the whole process and makes it look dumb. What they're investigating happened 3 years ago, and now we're investigating it now. What are we doing? Why, if it was so important and needed to be investigated, why didn't we do it then? Right. So,
had he not resigned, it's because he resigned. They felt, well, why do we have to put resources into an investigation?
Sure. Listen, if you're going to hire guys with a past like Mike Babcock, this is part and parcel, right? This comes with the territory. If you're going to hire guys, when you hired Stan Bowman, there was also, they waited and waited. There's conversation with the league, and then Gary Bettman had to sanction the hiring, and we're doing the same thing here. And, if you don't want that, go hire some other coach who's got a better reputation, who hasn't been a bit of a dick his whole career, frankly. That's what to do. And they're willing, I want to say this too. Like, if the Oilers, this is really about, it's about the kind of person Mike Babcock is. I don't think anyone doubts he's a good coach. Let's agree on one thing. The guy knows how to coach. He works hard. He's coached good. Has he won lately? No, he hasn't won lately. Whatever. He can coach. This is all about the kind of person he is, and how he treats players is really at the heart of all this. Well, you know what? If the Oilers players are welcoming of this guy, Zach Hyman played for him. He knows him. These guys have more information than we have. If Leon Draisaitl wants to phone some guy he knows who played for Mike Babcock, the guy picks up the phone and tells him a lot of stuff he'd never tell you or me. I'll tell you that right now. This group of Oilers players are privy to more information on Babcock than I'll ever be. And if they decide they want him, then it's their who the hell are we to say you shouldn't have that coach? If they want to deal with a guy like that, let them deal with him. I don't care. You know, what's it to you and me? He's no skin off my nose. I got to go down and talk to him every day and travel on the road. I'll deal with a guy. I'm not worried about that. You'll deal with him too.
Yeah, I don't know what his future is with the organization here in Edmonton, but I'm talking about Jack Roslovic. He was there in Columbus.
Okay.
So he's there in 2023 when all this shakes down. So I don't know if he's been reached out to by Connor, Leon, whoever. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. But if you know, for sure, if I'm one of the Oilers doing a deep dive in on this guy, and the Oilers have clearly entrusted a small group of their leadership to do that, and I'm telling you that I believe it to be Ekholm and Hyman and Draisaitl and McDavid at least, and maybe others, but for sure those four.
But
of course they phoned Roslovic. They all have his number. Of course they texted him and gave him a phone call.
So what about the facts back here that again, and Gregor did a pretty deep dive into this on his article and his show, just regarding that Babcock doesn't have problems with his star players. And the Oilers would not have contacted Matt Savoy or Ike Howard on the possibility of Mike Babcock coming here. So when the star players give the thumbs up and say that's okay, but it's those players, that's the guys that are the weak guys on the vine, if you want to call it, and that's a bad terminology, but it's look at all the guys. It's the Franzens. It's all these guys that he's gone after, the young guys, and he's gone after these in the past. So wouldn't it be up to the core leadership group to say, well, that's not going to happen here?
Yeah,
like you can't
absolutely.
have that here. And that's what's disappointing, I think.
Well, I mean, I guess I'd say to you that it's certainly up to them to put down the guardrails to make sure it doesn't happen here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's up to those guys. I mean, and that's how bullies work. Bullies never pick the strongest guy; they pick the weakest guy, right? Yeah. So sure, it's the guy on the third, fourth line that needs to please the coach to get his ice time. Draisaitl's getting his ice time. Hyman's getting his ice time. You know, it's those guys on the back end that he's traditionally been the hardest on, for sure. And it's up to if Connor McDavid is going to be the captain of this team, and that leadership group is going to claim they got a strong culture, and they're going to look you in the eye and say we're doing things right in this dressing room, then they're clearly watching out for this guy. It's not a surprise when Mike Babcock walks in the door that he might mistreat a Matt Savoy, and it's up to those leaders to damn well make sure it doesn't happen here, and to stand up when it does. And I would suggest to you that in the meeting they had with Mike Babcock, like I'm telling you, that have to have been made clear that we want your coaching acumen and we don't need any of your other BS. And if you think you're coming in here and you're going to pull the same old thing again, we're here to tell you that's not going to go over in our dressing room. I mean, if I was one of the leaders, that's what I would say. I don't know how I'd approach this. I'm not in their shoes, but again, if Zach Hyman's looking at me and saying, this guy's going to help us win a Stanley Cup, and he's a better coach than the other guys, I'm listening to Zach Hyman because I trust him.
The two questions, there's two questions right now. How long does this investigation take, and what do they find?
I don't really know. I don't have a clue how long it takes. First of all, this is the NHL. It's going to take beyond the Stanley Cup final because they don't want this news coming out while their teams are playing a cup final. So I guarantee you that it ain't happening by the end of the week, for sure. What do they find? Well, I've heard a lot of different things about the Columbus situation. There was a couple of veteran players, including Johnny Gaudreau, who I am told by people I trust, who it was a meeting where Babcock said, "Hey, let me see some pictures of your family."
Yeah.
And they had them on their phone like we all do, and they looked at their kids and they talked about family, and they left the room thinking, "Hey, this is cool. I got no problem with this." But then there was some young,
he's not targeting those guys.
Well, that's it. Then there were some younger players who probably didn't know. Obviously, maybe they're not married. They obviously don't have kids. So what are you looking at on my phone? My mom and dad? Do you really want to see pictures of my mom and dad? Or are you looking through my phone? You know, are you asking me to pull up pictures, and apparently it's projected in his office, you know, to see what's on my phone. If I'm a 23-year-old NHL player, you know, and maybe I'm active on the dating scene, I don't want my coach seeing my phone.
It was
So
enough
that's the
that he
issue.
resigned, Spec. That's what I'm saying. There was enough going on back then that he
Oh, yeah.
resigned. If there were no problems, he wouldn't have resigned. They would have moved forward with him.
Well, I mean, what happens from there is some players complain to the PA, some younger players, and the PA stands up for their people, and that's wrong. That is not a hiring practice in any profession. If I sat down with Gregor for an interview before I took this gig and he said, I got to look through your phone, I'd say, screw you, Greg. I'm looking through my phone. So, the league, particularly a guy with a background like Mike Babcock, it was very clear he hadn't learned. This whole thing about, he's learned and he deserves a second chance. Well, he had a second chance and he didn't learn. This is his third chance, right? So he hadn't learned nothing yet that we've seen. So,
as I said off the top of the show, Spec, a year ago, the Oilers were in the same position, exact same position as the Carolina Hurricanes are in right now. Down to a best of 3 with home ice. And think of where this team has been a year ago and where it is right now with what's happened here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't I can compartmentalize all these things, Kev. First of all, they're where they are because their team didn't have they took the regular season off.
Yeah.
Right? They're players, not the coaches, not Daryl Cates, not whoever's the next coach is going to be. The players took the season off. Okay. So that group of players is responsible statistically, standings wise, where we are right now, where that team is right now. There's a reason they stunk all last year.
The coach fired.
Whatever. They got their coach fired because they didn't show up.
And now they've missed out on 2 coaches here, possibly, that they've wanted to hire.
Missed out on who? Missed out on Laviolette? Why the hell? Big deal.
Well, what about Cassidy?
Well, it's not their fault. They would have hired Cassidy 2 weeks ago, Kevin.
I understand that, but there's still a possibility they could moving forward here.
What, are you going to wait all year for Kelly McCrimmon to decide who you get to hire?
Wait till the end of the Stanley Cup final, Spec.
No, maybe. And listen, I'm not here to defend or speak on behalf of Babcock or defend the choice or any of that, right? I know the Babcock's backstory. I know who the guy is, but I'm telling you that the Edmonton Oilers and their players particularly have decided Mike Babcock is the guy they want behind their bench ahead of Bruce Cassidy. That group of players has decided that. If it doesn't work out, we're going to blame Stan Bowman for this, but you better blame Leon Draisaitl, and you better blame Zach Hyman, and you better talk to Connor McDavid, because they're all in on this thing 100%. This is a team thing. It's not just Stan Bowman. If those players would have said to Stan Bowman, we don't want any part of this guy, don't hire him, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Babcock would have been down the road. So it is an organization thing, Kev, but it's the guys wearing the uniform that are a massive part of this thing. They want Mike Babcock, full stop.
All right, Spec. Good stuff. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, man.
Mark Spector, Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC, powered by Northgate. This truck is for you. Little late getting to Paul Sir, but we're going to preview game number 4 of the NBA Finals when we come back on the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne. Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Home ice advantage is real at the rink and on your windows. Novo Blinds is Edmonton's own custom manufacturer, trusted by customers around the city. Factory direct pricing with the fastest turnaround around. Book a free in-home consultation at novoblinds.ca. Tee up at the 2026 Golf-a-thon presented by Popeye Supplements June 19th at Rundle Park, supporting the University Hospital Foundation. Play 1, 2, 3, even 4 rounds of golf. Go tracksocialclub.com.
Summer weekends in Alberta mean one thing: tournament season.
I brought the folding chairs. I brought the sunscreen. I brought the umbrella, just in case.
But who brought the snacks to get through a doubleheader?
I got Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, the ultimate sideline fuel. Whether you're cheering on the kids or watching the pros, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
With Play Alberta, backing the home team goes beyond the bets. That's because your picks have provincial impact. Play Alberta is the only app in the province that puts all revenue directly back into supporting programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. By investing in the General Revenue Fund, every play, bet, and buy made on Play Alberta helps make a difference across the province. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Hi, Edmonton. Are you ready to serve up some summer fun? Join Subaru at the Edmonton Expo Center on June 13th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for a free, family-friendly tennis event designed for all ages from 3 to 83. Whether you're a seasoned player or have never picked up a racket, come to have fun and celebrate the start of tennis season in a comfortable indoor space. Register today at edmontontennis.ca. Make some memories and welcome summer with Subaru. Welcome to Uncommon.
Stories, guests, and insights. This is Sports 1440 and the Kevin Karius Show.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:25 in Edmonton. A little late getting to our headliner of the day, brought to you by Mr. Rooter Plumbing, because your pipes take a beating on game day 2. Are you ready for overtime? Even when your plumbing isn't? Well, Mr. Rooter is. Check him out at mrrooter.ca as we welcome in Paul Sir from Hoop City. Good morning, Paul.
Hey, Kevin.
As always, thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 on game day. Game number 4. Here we go, Paul. Here we go.
Absolutely. It's now it's an interesting series. It always was, with New York sweeping 2 in San Antonio, but the Spurs came back in a tightly contested but very, very interesting game 3.
Do you feel a little momentum or a lot of momentum or somewhere in the middle going towards the Spurs side here, Paul?
I feel like there's a lot of momentum, because I think to me, when I thought about what happened in game 3, my summation was the Spurs adjustments to the Knicks were much more successful than what the Knicks tried to execute against the Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
And if I may, there's a couple of factors that I think are really critical here. Number one, the usage of Jalen Brunson went way up, has been real high all along, but went way up in game 3. And it really came down to, Kevin, the phenomenal play of Brunson and OG Anunoby that kept the Knicks close and actually gave them a chance to win with some remarkable scoring down the stretch.
Right.
But I think the rest of the team outside of OG and Brunson made 2 baskets in the last quarter and a half. Everything is through them. That's not a recipe for winning, coming down to 2 players. So, I think there is momentum on the part of the Spurs right now.
Yeah, Paul Sir with us on Sports 1440. 2 comments after game number 3 that struck me. One was Mike Brown. Is that gamesmanship, talking about how the second half was called about the Spurs having 24 free throws to the Knicks 8? Is that gamesmanship for game number 4, Paul?
Partially, definitely. It's also whining. There is that. The officiating is perplexing in terms of what they call and what they don't call, because it is so physical. There's so much clutching and grabbing on the ball and off ball. And so it really is hard to understand what is and what isn't a foul. It really looks like a mess. And I know the officials are trying to delineate what they should call and what they shouldn't. And I'm not saying they're doing a good job or not, but what that told me, it's interesting because it could be on what you're saying, Kevin. It could be gamesmanship. It also could be a bit of panic on the part of Brown, going to the officials and blaming them for their loss, because the Spurs did, in most respects, outplay the Knicks in Game 3.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. They did. The other comment was from Stefan Castle saying, I expect us to win the next 3 games. This was after game number 3. That when players say that, I just go, oh man.
Why do that?
Okay, yeah.
But there's one number that I think explains why Castle would say that. And that number is 21, which is his age. And I mean, you've got Harper at 20, Castle at 21, Wemby at 22, and I think Vassell is 24.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an incredibly young group of men. And I think, a lot of people are fawning over Wemby and how he expresses himself emotionally. He's also a young guy with, trying to figure his emotions out there. And if, social media loves the way he emotes, that's wonderful. But you can also say maybe at points he gets too emotional. Castle, now, I will say this about Castle.
Yeah.
As great as Wemby was the other night, Stefan Castle was unbelievable. The shots he hit, when he hit them, how he made them, just unbelievable. So, they're making the big statement, but now they got to back it up tonight.
Paul Scher with us on Sports 1440. So you mentioned Brunson and his 32 points. Wemby also had 32. What did the Spurs do defensively different to Brunson, do you think, in the course of game number 3?
What I think they did was they stopped trying to get the ball out of his hands by running double teams at him, because when they would run an extra player at him, Kevin, then Brunson would get rid of the ball. It would automatically create an imbalance in the Spurs defense. Knicks would find that imbalance and get wide open shots. The way this affected the outcome of the game the other night is, yes, Brunson, I think he had 35 actually, but Brunson did have 35, but his assists were down. Karl Anthony Towns hardly touched the ball in the fourth quarter. Like I said, and OG was magnificent. The one asterisk I would put to that, I have a hard time imagining he's going to have another night like that tonight, because that's hard to duplicate. He might. He's great. He's playing phenomenal. I think he's as much the reason why the Knicks are up 2-1 as the play of Brunson and Cat. But I think in the case of Brunson, they're letting Brunson do his thing and defending him to the best of their ability, but they're taking away the subs and what they're doing. The other night, Clarkson hit some out of his mind shots. That probably won't happen again. They took Shamet out, who'd been playing extremely well, and they isolated Brunson and OG, and in the end, I think that worked. I think whenever you try to throw junk defenses at another team for 48 minutes, they figure it out and they exploit the mismatches that you create. That certainly is what the Knicks have been doing.
So do you think, so in game 3, it was part of the Knicks' lack of execution, as well as how well, the Spurs were trying to derail what the Knicks were doing? A little bit of both. What are you looking at here?
I'd say it was probably a bit of both, but I think that another thing happened though with the Spurs that I think to me is the top story is if Wemby plays the way he played the other night, they have a shot.
Yeah,
he was under control. He took good shots and he was aggressive early. Because in the other games he would go into halftime only taking 4 shots.
Yeah.
The other night, he was ready right out of the gate. And here's the thing he did, Kevin, that was different. And I still am mystified why he plays on the perimeter so much. He went to the basket. He pick and rolled, and he scored early close to the basket and established an inside presence, as opposed to being the outside player. And he's really good at it. But he's also 7'5".
Yeah.
So having him close to the basket makes sense.
Our buddy Huts text in and says, KK, wondering when the last time Mr. Scher watched an NBA Finals game that was this close every game. Could have gone either way every game, he says. 2 minutes, or pardon me, in the last few minutes, 2 different styles going at it. A comment on that, Paul?
Huss, it's a great question. I can't tell you the last time I saw two evenly. I think his point is fantastic in what you were saying. It's the fact that the games are close and that you have two distinct styles clashing with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what makes this finals as entertaining as I believe it really is you've got the young, elite, athletic Spurs, and you've got the rock fighting, tough, physical Knicks, clashing. You've got some drama. You've got Wemby doing God knows what, pushing Brunson's head down, no foul called. Like, there's drama in this. And then, of course, there is that officiating undertone and overtone about what's being called, what's not. But it's a very good series of contrasting styles. That's a wonderful point.
Do you think this series can get even more physical? Like if it's a 6 or 7, and we were talking about this yesterday. I said, easy guys here. We're not talking about when you and I were watching the Pistons and the Celtics and all this stuff years and years ago. But if you want to call it a 5 on that level, can it get to an 8 or something like that, Paul?
Well, I guess it could, Kevin, but I think what we're mistaking for physical play is actually clutch and grabbing. It's not physical. It's restraining your opponent. The locking of one of the phenomenons in modern NBA is how players have perfected the locking arms with other players while they're dribbling the basketball, while they're guarding, how arms are slipping under and you're holding the arm of your opponent back. So I would delineate physical play with clutching and grabbing. And I think that's more the story of this series on the style of defense is, it's physical as well. It's not 90s physical, as you correctly point out.
Yeah.
But the fact that the officials are allowing the clutching and grabbing both on ball and off ball, like I said, that's when the door opens of what's a foul and what's not. And when fouls are called, you can always refer to, well, why wasn't this other foul called?
Mm-hmm.
So could it go to an 8 in clutching and grabbing from I'd say it's at an 8 in clutching and grabbing right now. Could it go to a 10? Probably. But if the officials swallow their whistles, then the players are going to try to get away with whatever they can.
Yeah, I think tonight, the officials are going to have to set the tone a little earlier and stick to it the entirety of the game. Is that fair?
100%. I think I totally agree with you that what's going to be interesting is what does that mean? Mm-hmm. Like, still, what clutching and grabbing are you going to call? When you see guys' jerseys 4 feet behind them when they're coming off a screen and no fouls called because the defender's grabbing the guy's jersey, it's like, why don't you just call that? And so, it'll be interesting. But I agree with you. They're going to have to set the tone. The spotlight's on them again. And they're going to have to set the tone tonight, and it will be interesting to see what tone they actually set.
I'm going to ask you a couple questions about Game 4, but I just wanted to circle back to Game 3 for one more. And do you think it's possible that the Knicks, there was a distraction with everything? We're talking Trump, all the celebrities and everything that happened outside, the watch part, everything that you can talk about that was sort of a normalcy for them, even though, like, it's New York, and we've talked about this, how nutso it is there, you and I.
Well,
could Game 3 have been a bit of a distraction at times for the Knicks' preparation for that contest?
What I would say, it would be like buying a gooey cinnamon bun with a ton of frosting on it, and somebody just decides to put another layer of frosting on top of it and a big cherry on top. New York is insane all the time, winning or losing. If the Knicks are losing, you would swear the world is ending. But like now it's at a fever pitch. President Trump shows up. Everybody's, worried about that. Hell, Brunson has his dad with him. Like when Brunson this is interesting because as a dad who's coached his sons, I can relate to this. But, when Brunson gets hit or knocked down, dad's out there as dad, not just as Coach Brunson, as dad. The celebrity distraction is, what the lady from Law and Order,
Mariska Hargitay. Yeah.
She's out there hugging one of the players. I mean,
Onanobi.
Yeah, I mean, it's an asylum, is what it is, and so could it? Sure, but it would just be like, what level of New York is always 9 out of 10 in terms of distraction.
Yeah,
this was probably 10 out of 10.
2 questions for tonight, and it's going to be fill in the blank for you. The San Antonio Spurs win Game 4 and even the series at 2 if
they remain under control defensively, and I think continue down the path of making Brunson beat them. I think that's the big if. And then the second part would be Wemby remembers what worked in Game 3 and doesn't go back to floating on the perimeter. That he establishes that inside presence. That to me would be, and of course then you have supporting casts on both sides. But those would be the 2 critical factors to me for winning Game 4 for the Spurs.
And conversely, the New York Knicks win Game 4 and take a 3-1 series lead if
other players are able to step up. And I think what the major adjustment that the Knicks have to make, particularly when they get to the fourth quarter, is they have to get Cat involved offensively. Because Cat has had success taking Wemby off the dribble and getting to the basket. And also, he needs to park that big butt in the low block and go to work in the block once in a while, and also not fall prey to getting outside. The Spurs have done a magnificent job of taking the 3 away from him. The other night, he didn't hit one. He only got 2 3-pointers, I believe. So I think more other New York Knicks, not named Brunson and even Anunoby, have to be impact players in the fourth quarter. And what I am concerned about, and this is what I hope the New York Knicks coaching staff is looking introspectively at, is, are we falling into the trap of just letting Brunson figure it out for the whole quarter? If the Knicks do that, I think the Spurs have a really good shot at beating them.
Paul, great stuff. Really appreciate it. Enjoy game number 4. Hey, do you know what's coming up on Hoop City at 10 o'clock on Saturday?
We're going to spend quite a bit of time in the first hour on local and Canadian content with the recent Canadian victory on the U18 Cup over the Americans. That was quite a victory. So
we got a guest for you if you want.
Pardon me?
We have a guest for you if you want that was texting in on Monday.
Who was that?
What was his name again, guys? I can't remember. Anyway, he texted in and he goes, "We're an hour into the show. You guys haven't mentioned this win over the United States, 67-65 in Mexico City." So we had a lot of moving parts on Monday, and so then it went on, and finally we just gave in to this guy and we started talking about this game, Paul. So if you're talking about that, we'll alert this guest because we'll find out who he was, and I'm sure he had a friend on the team. That's what it was. So.
Well, there's a young Edmonton guy who was an impact player on the team this year, and there's a coach on the national team from Calgary who played with my son at Northern Arizona, Kyle Landry. He was an assistant coach. So I think that deserves the spotlight. And we'll talk about the Stingers. They're looking better. And then second hour we'll do all Spurs and a little WNBA controversy. So it's going to be a great show.
Good stuff. Thanks, Paul. Take care, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Kevin.
Paul Sir, Hoop City from 10 till 12 right here on Sports 1440 AM radio with Josh Fenwick. Our headliner of the day brought to you by Mr. Rooter, dropping the gloves on every clogged pool. That's mrrooter.ca. When we come back, we'll get to some of your texts. 833-401-1440. Has Cam Tate entered the building with another edition of Cam and Eggs? The Duke is nodding. Yes, it should be number 40 or 41, but he's always a day behind. Tater texted me yesterday. He wants to have a little chat after the show. I don't know. Maybe he's not happy with things. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's coming up in the next little bit. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Looking for a truck that can handle anything Alberta throws your way? Wolf GMC Buick has the offers to get you behind the wheel. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on select new 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 models. Plus, trade in an eligible 2015 or newer pickup and receive a $1,000 truck trade-in bonus on select Sierra models. Ask about bonus offers for heroes, students, recent graduates, and more. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com.
You may get up early, but more than likely, the team at GS Construction have already gotten up before you, grabbed a coffee, headed to the site, and started their day. So while Edmonton wakes up, GS crews are already underground, quietly keeping things moving, upgrading, and laying the new underground infrastructure for our growing city. If you're the kind of person who goes to sleep with their steel-toed boots on, GS Construction wants to hear from you. We're looking for a maintenance foreman as well as a building and yard attendant. Visit gsconstruction.ca for more.
It doesn't start on game day. It starts before kickoff, before the first snap. It starts with you locking in your season seats. This is Edmonton Elks football. The only way to experience it is being there for every hit, catch, and touchdown. The Elks home opener kicks off June 20th against Montreal. Your season seats are your way in. Get yours now at goelks.com/season seats. Edmonton Elks. Our city, our year.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1. Saving you money, with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2. Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3. Saving you more money, with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, wow, great hair transplant. I want them to think,
Wow, great hair.
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. The Elks home opener, June 20th. It's going to be big. Lock in your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 8:48 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440. You know, Duke, watching Jordan Staal at the podium last night, and you know he's been up there before in the Stanley Cup playoffs. You know, he's putting Jake Wallman to shame here, Duke. He's putting Jake Wallman to shame with the guns.
Jordan Staal now taking over your number one power ranking on bodies.
Yeah, just for guns at the podium.
So not guys' bodies you'd like to slip inside and mess around a little bit.
No, that was who was that? Makar?
Makar, yeah.
No, but just podium. You know, when they've got their arms out and it's a little different. Like the placards are getting bigger now, and they're hiding the guns on these guys, right? So
yeah, that's the hill Kevin's gonna die. I was like,
you know,
give us more viewing of the athletes,
see, like
particularly their bodies.
Like Jake Wallman, I mean, you could see it, right? You know, they were pipes, but Jordan Stahl's got him. He's got him beat, and that's why John Tortorella says he's killing us in front of the net. He's killing us.
He's an absolute moose of a player. Like you watch any given game and you watch him go around the ice, he looks way bigger than I think he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's just because of how stocky he is. He's obviously very strong, as you're touching on there, Kevin, with the gun show. But yeah, like when you watch him play, he seems bigger than every other player out there.
And he's got the old man strength.
Well, yeah, that's just the cherry on top.
Yeah, that's the old man strength. So here's one for you before we get to Cam Tate. Now, let's just say Carolina wins the Stanley Cup. I can't see it being like 2 years ago where Connor McDavid won the Conn Smythe. I don't see Mitch Marner winning the Conn Smythe. Because
regardless of outcome.
No. If Vegas wins the Stanley Cup, Mitch Marner wins the Conn Smythe.
I think that is the clear front runner. Yes.
But if Carolina wins the Stanley Cup, if it were like the NBA and a true finals MVP, just the finals MVP, then it's Stahl hands down. But
yeah, he's making a good push.
Sure it is. The Conn Smythe is for the entirety of the playoffs.
Yes, which I like about the NHL.
For sure, because it's a grind
compared to the MLB, NFL, and NBA, where it is purely finals, Super Bowl, World Series MVPs.
So again, let's just say Carolina wins the Stanley Cup. Who's your Conn Smythe? Is it still Mitch Marner?
No.
To me, not a chance.
No, and when like history tells us that to win the Conn Smythe on the losing team, it has to be an exceptional tier. And
that's
I think
what Connor was 2 years ago.
That's right. It was a historic playoff, right? Was it not a new record for most assists in a playoff?
Yeah.
So Marner, and I'm not trying to discount what he's done because he's the clear cut winner if Vegas emerges triumphant. 29 points, he's 9 clear of second place. But for Carolina, I'm kind of like flipping going into the final. I was all aboard the Taylor Hall wagon. He's still been good.
Freddie Anderson was there.
Well, Freddie Anderson, his numbers were tremendous, obviously. But I think it's boiled down to one of 3 players for me in Carolina, and I actually have it kind of it's not Conn Smythe related, but it's about one of these players, and I think it is between Jordan Staal, Logan Stankoven, and a third player, which we will get to in or out.
Good stuff. Time now for another edition of Cam and Eggs with Cam Tate.
Cam and Eggs. Order 40. Wow. Just wow. Let's be brutally honest about what is happening here, because somebody has to say it out loud. The Mike Babcock story is not just growing legs, it is metastasizing by the hour, spreading into every dark corner of this franchise's decision-making, leaving behind something that doesn't wash off easily. This is not gossip. This is not noise. This is a fire alarm going off inside the Oilers organization. And the question is whether anyone inside that building is actually listening. Here is the cold, hard reality. The NHL Players Association has formally asked the league to investigate Mike Babcock's conduct during his time with the Columbus Blue Jackets, before Edmonton puts a pen in this man's hand and hands him the keys. Let that land. When Babcock slipped out of Columbus, the NHL did absolutely nothing. No investigation, no accountability, no answers. They let it die quietly in the dark. And now, with Babcock one signature away from coaching one of the most high-profile rosters in the entire league, the NHLPA has stood up and said, not so fast. Good. It's the bare minimum, but at least someone is doing it. Now let me ask the questions the Oilers brass clearly doesn't want asked. Did Babcock sit across from Daryl Cates knowing full well this investigation request was coming? Was it on the table in that room? And if it was, did they both decide to bury it and hope nobody noticed? Because that would be a stunning level of arrogance. How long does an investigation like this actually take? Weeks? Months? Is this organization willing to be held in limbo, or does none of that matter to them? Because Pierre LeBrun and Chris Johnston, two sharp knives in hockey journalism, reported Tuesday night that Edmonton has confirmed nothing to the NHLPA. .0. Silence. So where does Babcock actually stand? Is this deal alive, or is it bleeding out on the floor? And is Bruce Cassidy's phone suddenly ringing? The Oilers better start talking, because the silence right now is deafening. Wow. Just wow. Back with GG, the Gregor guy, this afternoon. Cam and Eggs, Sports 1440.
Thank you, Tater. Was he correct on order number 40, Duke, or is it 41?
So that was yesterday. See, now and even you're losing track.
Well, we're going to have to go back into the
archives.
Well, it was 37 on Thursday, 39. Today's supposed to be 41.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
We'll figure that. I'll talk to Tater about that tomorrow.
Yeah, that's this discussion you and him are going to have today.
You don't know what number it is.
Forget whatever topic he wants to cover. Your primary focus will be Cam's counting.
Whatever the order is. Coming up at the top of the hour, David Schlemko, the former NHLer, our co-host for Cougar Paint and Collision. We've got Matt Larkin from the Daily Face-Off at 9:20. We'll go in or out with Schlemmer at 10:20. Brett Hedican works for the Anaheim Ducks in the system with the San Diego Gulls in player development. 20 years ago, Brett Hedican was on the Carolina Hurricanes when they defeated the Oilers 4-3 in the Stanley Cup final. Before all that, time now for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Stanley Cup final is even at 2 as it'll shift back to Raleigh and become a best of 3 as the Hurricanes take down the Golden Knights 5-3 last night from Vegas. Captain Jordan Stahl scoring twice for Carolina. Brandon Bussey in his first career playoff start stops 18 of 21 for the victory. Off the ice, the ongoing Oilers head coaching vacancy saga continues as the NHLPA has asked the NHL to move forward with an investigation into allegations against Mike Babcock invading players' privacy during his time in Columbus. This according to several insiders at the NHL level. And this investigation would impede the Oilers' hiring of Babcock in the immediate future. Colorado Avalanche captain Gabe Landeskog has been named the winner of both the Bill Masterton Trophy and Mark Messier Leadership Award for this past season. The Masterton awarded to the player best exemplifying qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey, and then played his first regular season game this year since the 2021-22 campaign. PWHL Toronto Scepters have their new head coach as Stanley Cup champion Pascal Rayom has been named, taken over ahead of the 26-27 season. And in the majors last night, Toronto Blue Jays get one back from the Phillies 3-2 the final. Brandon Valenzuela with the walk-off single in the bottom of the ninth, and Dylan Cease his return to the hill, 11 strikeouts over 6 innings strong. Edmonton Riverhawks fall last night 4-0 in the hands of Victoria, but they're right back at it this morning for their school spirit day, 11:05, first pitch from Remax Field. Coming up in hour 3 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by Matt Larkin from the Daily Faceoff and our Wednesday co-host, former NHL defenseman David Schlemko. I'm Brandon Douglas, Citrus Sports 1440 Update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com. Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Guys, there never seems to be enough time in the day, but you need to make time for this. Ken Franchek here. If you're 40 or over, a quick PSA blood test is crucial for early prostate cancer detection. The Prostate Cancer Center's Man Van is a mobile health clinic driving change for men's health. A few minutes could save your life. To get the Man Van out to your business or event, book today at getcheck.ca.
From the first pitch to the final out, catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
At Wendy's, get a 10-piece nugget small combo for just $8.99. That's right, $8.99 for 100% Canadian chicken, plus fries and a drink. That's just good nuggenomics. Only until June 14th. In restaurant at participating Wendy's locations. Taxes extra.
Cougar Creek Golf Resort is now open and in great condition. Experience our championship-length golf course, surrounded by trees and rolling terrain, and only minutes from Edmonton. Book a tee time today. Go to cougarcreekgolf.com and click on golf.
Sports 1440.
All sports,
all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:02 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick with you here on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch as well. It's Wednesday, 9 bells. That means it's time to welcome in our Wednesday co-host, David Schlemko, powered by Cougar Paint and Collision, where family service and pride have earned customer trust for decades. Check them out at cougarcollision.com. Good morning, Schlemmer.
Morning, KK.
Well, we're going to talk about Mike Babcock with you momentarily, but we said this off the top of the show. It is too bad that we've been talking a lot about Mike Babcock when we've got an incredible Stanley Cup final going on, tied at 2, now a best of 3.
Hell of a series.
It's just there's no lead safe.
No,
like
so back and forth.
Don't get a 2-0 lead because you know you're not going to have it for long.
Right. I mean, I think the only given so far is Carolina's going to come out flying and Vegas is going to come back in the second.
Yeah.
Other than that, who knows what's going to happen out there.
And then, you know, vice versa. You look at game 3, you know, how that game, like, I mean, the predictability of this series, like if you think you can say, you know, what's going to happen, there's no way.
There's no way, man.
BSing yourself and everyone.
The best part of watching the series, I think, right? I mean, usually it's usually tight. It's low scoring, which is, I don't know, good for a final, but this has been just great to watch.
So I don't know if there's something that caught your eye last night. Like for me, I mean, we talked about Jordan Stahl here again. So if you were playing against a guy that was, like we said about his man strength there, he's 37.
Yeah.
He's an absolute moose. So actually, you know what? I saw the clip of him yesterday. I don't know if you saw that one with him when he was drafted, because they brought in all the draft picks coming up.
Oh, I think I just caught the end of that.
Yeah.
I caught him like talking to the kids.
To the kids in the dressing room.
Yeah.
And he's like, those just some big young kids, but he's like an absolute monster.
Oh, he's huge, man. He was like always one of the guys I liked playing against the least, or I found like the toughest to play against.
And just because strength, body position, core.
Yeah, and he's so smart too. Like on the PK, he takes such good angles at you. Like I think you see like with him and Marner, they're both like unbelievable F1s on the PK forecheck, turning pucks over. But Stahl, no, he skates well for a big man. You can't knock him off the puck, and he just protects it so well. You just feel like you're just chasing his ass all night. You know,
yeah, he's not like a Yager, but it's like a Yager with, you know, that ass.
Like a Yager light, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's like that, you know, his ass is in your face all
and
night long.
He just does everything well.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we've talked, I think they've been talking about in the broadcast, like, got to get Jack Eichel going. Well, Jack Eichel's been playing against Jordan Stahl almost every shift. And I think he's kind of losing that battle right now.
Yeah. I mean, Stahl's been phenomenal. What about like that fourth goal that he's like, so the game winner? Like, I mean, how the hell did he even get the way his body was?
Second effort, baby. Yeah. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. I think he kind of realized he wasn't going to get the forehand on it and somehow like switched his arms as he was falling down, got some wood on it. Just enough.
It's like the desperation on, well, 3 Carolina players on that play.
Right.
Down in the corner and then to get the puck out to Stahl.
Yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a first save by Hart on Jarvis there.
Oh, like unbelievable how that just broke down, because there were, in the sense of where Stahl was, and then Hart almost came across and got it too.
He did.
You know, and he might have had it if Stahl got more on it.
If he got more on it, exactly.
Yeah,
a little bit of a change up floater off the backhand there.
In slow motion.
Yeah.
Everything's in slow motion. So, as a former D-man in the NHL, and you see how things are going here, and the pressure, the amount of pressure on forecheck, probably you could say on both sides.
Yeah,
the way they're bringing it.
Yeah.
What's the game plan here? Like, when you guys go in and you're looking at video, what are you going, okay, we got to look at this, look at that to have success?
Well, it's a lot of bypassing, I think, on the breakouts. You've seen it from both sides. A lot of high flips, a lot of running your wingers high up by the blue line, throwing pucks in the glass and getting that battle out high. I think both teams have really put an onus on getting that battle out higher, trying to eliminate those long D-zone shifts or those turnovers down below the top of the circles.
Right. Do you think we're seeing more like flip passes out?
Oh, yeah. Tons.
Yeah, no. Compared to prior, like say prior series, even Stanley Cup Finals, like think about the Oilers last year and Florida.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Oilers could have utilized the high flip against that Florida Panthers forecheck a little bit. Would have been great to loosen them up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you got two teams that neither one is flinching, right? They're both playing their game. They both believe that if they stick with their game long enough, they're going to be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, you watch Carolina last night, they're up 4-3. It's 2 minutes left. I think the goalie might have been pulled already. And, you know, there's a pass up to the red line. You got Chatfield running outside of the dots out at that winger. Like, you never see that 5-on-6 with 2 minutes left and a 1-goal lead.
And then a bank off the board.
That's their system. That's what they play. They don't have anything else.
we talked about it yesterday too with Kenny Belkey from Sin Bin Vegas about Braden McNabb. So how does a guy and to be honest with you, just think if that shot gets away like a split second earlier at the end of the period, because that goal was not disallowed, it just the period ran out. This guy's got a mask cage on, whatever you want to call it. His nose is all over his face. Like, how the hell can a guy like this be played after like that happened in game 2, played 35 minutes in game 3. Yes, it was overtime, but
I think he's a very underrated player.
Yeah.
You think McNabb and you just think, oh, like kind of like big, slow, tough, physical, but like he's not slow. He covers a lot of ice. He's got a great stick. He's very smart for like a big, heavy, tough guy. You know, he makes really heads up plays with the puck in the O-zone. You can see like he jumps into that hole last night, finds it. Pretty unlucky, honestly, that doesn't count.
Yeah, I mean, we're 1/10 of a second or so, just around there, for it not being a good goal. But man, I can't believe a guy that took a 90-mile-an-hour slap shot right between the eyes.
Hockey guy.
Like, I mean, unbelievable.
I love that.
Is Shea Theodore playing his best hockey that you've seen? Probably.
He looks good.
Yeah.
I've always been a big Shea Theodore fan, but a little bit of a bad break on the winner last night, I think. Looked like he went to throw that pass up the wall. It hits a skate and
That's what I
goes
thought too,
right onto Jarvis's
You're
stick.
right, yeah.
But no, he's been great. Just a minute eater, right? He's out in every situation. The only D-man out 6-on-5.
Yeah.
He's first out on the kill.
When you mentioned Chatfield too, I was thinking like he's almost like a riverboat gambler at times.
They all are.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's their system. They're going to live and die by it. Maybe we've just seen Chatfield get caught a couple more times than the rest, right?
That's a good point, because I don't see it. Slavin's had some moments too.
Yeah.
Like Chatfield, for me, every time I go, all right, he's got the chance off the glass now, and he turns back, and there was that one part last night, and then I think he's behind the net to Slavin, and Slavin's going like, man, I've been out here for like a minute. You're throwing me the grenade, man?
Right.
Yeah.
I think most of their decor have a little bit better boots to recover than maybe Chatfield does as well.
Yeah. What do you think of Gostebier's play? I mean, he's obviously a power play guy. But
I think he's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like unbelievable. At all ends of the ice. I mean, yeah, you think back to the one game he got beat on the hurdle goal for the winner. Maybe that was game 1. But other than that, he's been solid in the D zone. Been unbelievable at the top, distributing the puck, getting pucks through at the top on the power play. Pretty good for a third pair guy.
You know, they get the one, he gets the assist on the Stahl power play goal. That's just a shot to the net, and the puck's down, and Stahl bangs it in. But
just sifting. It's a rolling puck. Hey, just sift her into the mix. And
how do you see him sort of quarterbacking the power play compared to some others? Is it similar, different? Does he have his own style?
Oh, well, I don't think he's got the huge bomb that most guys at the top have for that first unit power play, but he's got a lot more deception, and his feet are really good, and he's really good at, like we just talked about, just sifting in that wrister for a tip or a rebound. I think he's been great.
Well, we'll talk about this with Stephen Ellis, or pardon me, Matt Larkin from the Daily Faceoff at about 9:20 here, but wanted to get your thoughts too on what's been going on here with the Oilers, as well as far as Mike Babcock goes, because it's been a pretty crazy 3 days. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I can tell you. What was it, Monday?
Monday, yeah.
Yeah, I was with Rob Brown at the academy, and he goes, I just got 2 texts saying I got to talk about Mike Babcock possibly coming on, and I thought he was for sure joking. Shocked, a little bit disgusted now that you've really kind of swallowed it all and thought about it, and you relived all these past stories, and there's plenty of stories that us as players have heard that aren't in the media. So I'm a little disgusted with it, honestly.
What about too, Schlemmer, when you hear, and again, you hear reports saying that the Oilers core leadership group is on board with this?
Well, that's the shocking part, right? That's the shocking part to me. Stan Bowman, I mean, whatever. It's a desperate play from a desperate GM. He's made a lot of bad moves. He's trying to save his own ass. This is a Hail Mary for him. But for the players, that's where it gets really surprising for me. I think this could wind up being like a stain on McDavid and Leon's legacy if and when, you know what, hits the fan here.
Yeah.
Zach Hyman, I know he was always treated well. He was always a Babcock guy. There's plenty of Babcock guys that have seen the way he treats other players. So if this is about winning a championship, I'm just not putting the puzzle pieces together. I guess I just don't understand it.
I think you're in the same boat with a lot of people. That's the one word. I don't understand it.
You're basically saying that these former players are wrong, right? They're wrong, is what you're saying. Because I mean, you can change the way you communicate, or that you're a tactician, but like some of these stories that have come out are like you have bad character. You're a bad human being. I don't think you change your character.
That's the other question here. Can a tiger change his stripes? That's the other question here. I don't know that. And no one's heard from him for 3 years here.
Right.
When the Players Association, wants to get involved here, and that's how this is. So the Players Association said, we want an investigation to what happened in Columbus 3 years ago. Run us through that from a Players Association perspective with that element coming into play here.
Well, I think for the most part, if you're a player and you hear what has happened or the stories, you're thinking, we don't want this guy in our club anymore. We don't want him back. We want him gone. And that's why it's so surprising to me that the players, like the main core, are behind pushing this through. I don't understand it. It's the hockey world. It's a small world. It's a small group of guys that played. And to me, this is like spitting in the face of them a little bit.
So, full disclosure, you and I never discussed this at all week. I've had texts, people questioning of where I'm gathering information or whatever, and things, what the response has been.
Oh, okay.
And again, we never talked about it.
Nope.
I talked to a half dozen, 7, 8 guys, well, you're, I think 9 now or whatever it is, that have said the exact same thing as you, as a former player, and even into some management areas. No one has said to me, let's see how this plays out. Maybe he's changed. Maybe whatever, no one has ever said that. It's the same consensus that you're saying, Schlemmer. You used the word disgusted. I've said similar things. We have the odd texter. I said, yesterday, and Duke and I talked about this from Monday to yesterday, and where this is now. 90% of our listeners think that this is bad to explore, or a bad hire. Who knows where it goes from here? I don't know how long this investigation would go. You don't know how long it would go. I don't know what it pertains. Who knows what they find? You said, Schlemmer, there's a way more stuff out there amongst the players.
Yeah.
That is not out there for public consumption.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So
just
to me,
just day to day, conversations of just not a good guy.
Yeah.
You hear stuff about like the way he treats the arena staff. So how are you going to change your character in that sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it.
When we come back, we got Matt Larkin from the Daily Faceoff. We'll talk a little bit about this. I don't know how much, but we'll talk about the Cup final. Anything else going on regarding the NHL and everything else. It's Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick, David Schlemko on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Cougar Paint and Collision is Edmonton's go-to for auto body repairs, but client requests sometimes go off the rails.
Once you start doing the oddball things for people, it sometimes becomes second nature. One of the strangest things that we painted at the shop was a set of stairs for a mansion, and we had to paint 42 steel stringer stairs. Yeah, it was strange. Somebody doesn't think to go, wow, I need my stairs painted. Let's go to an auto body shop.
Cougar Paint and Collision. Our family helping your family.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Did you know there are actually 3 seasons we experience in June? Spring, summer, and construction season. And while roads may be narrowed and detours are everywhere, GS construction crews are on site every day doing the work because the city doesn't stop, and neither do we. As we build and upgrade infrastructure, life continues around us. That's why we never lose sight of what matters most, making sure everyone, including our team, returns home safely at the end of the day. For more on what we do, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This deal's only good till 6 o'clock tonight. We need your credit card to hold the color. Hold the color. Summer package. Winter package. And the ever-famous re-PDI fee. I gotta pay you to rebuild the car? Does this sound familiar? At Northgate, we do things differently. We offer 0% financing, a great selection of new, pre-owned vehicles. So if you'd like to do business a different way, stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Sleep is for the off-season. What off-season? Sports 1440 is live, loud, and locked 24/7. Oilers, Elks, Riverhawks, Stingers, Oil Kings. We've got your fix. Edmonton's home for sports is Sports 1440.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the 2 best names in the boots business.
Hi, it's Jason McCoy. You know, music's given me a lot of great moments, but nothing means more than time with my dad. When he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, a simple PSA blood test was key in detecting it early, and we got more years, more laughs, and more memories. Guys, it's a quick test that just might end up saving your life.
Join the Princess Auto Motorcycle Ride for Dad in Edmonton this Saturday. Register or donate at ridefordad.ca.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program. 9:21 in Edmonton, and time now for the Puck Report, brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, we can meet all your car needs and more with our digital vehicle report. We just don't tell you what your car needs, we show you. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com today as we welcome back Matt Larkin from the Daily Face-Off. Good morning, Matt. You're with Kevin Karius and the former NHLer, David Schlemko. Thanks as always for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
Kevin and David, good to be back, my friends. How you doing?
Well, it's doing great because, you know, we're watching one of the best ever Stanley Cup finals that we can remember in recent history. When you've been watching these first 4 games, Matt, what do you see and what are you thinking? Just great hockey to watch.
It's been unbelievable. And to me, what stands out the most is if you think of the way these teams typically have played, they're so disciplined under Rod Brindamore and John Tortorella. They are typically lockdown teams defensively. And in this unstoppable force versus immovable object matchup, that's kind of gone out the window. And it's been back and forth, goals galore. And I know it's not exactly what either coach probably wants, but the entertainment value has been through the roof.
Yeah, for sure, Slimer.
So we're 4 games in. It looks to me like both of these teams, they're not giving an inch, right? They believe in their game and the way they play. If they stick with it long enough, it's going to be successful. So which team do you think breaks first from this point on?
I don't think we're going to see either team break until the very end. So going into the season in September, this was my Cup final pick, by the way, these two teams.
Wow. Nicely done.
And going into this series, I said it was going 7 games. And I think it's partially because the two teams play such similar styles. They're both conscientious both ends of the ice. They both are aggressive in the way that they drive the play, and they're used to imposing their will on opponents. And facing each other, they haven't been able to do that, which is why it's been such a back and forth series. I expect it to continue that way. I had Vegas in 7 because if I was breaking a tie, I do think Vegas still has the one element that Carolina doesn't, which is star power. Vegas has a Mitch Marner that can take over a game, or Mark Stone, or a Jack Eichel, even though I know Eichel has not been at his best in the series so far. But Carolina is obviously more of an attack by committee team, and they're so deep. I'd say their star is their coach. They sort of play under Rod Brind'Amour's identity, but the Hurricanes haven't had a 100-point scorer in 20 years. They haven't had a 40-goal scorer even in 17 years. So I think that's what's going to be the deciding factor if we're possibly in a Game 7 overtime type of situation, which feels likely right now.
Yeah, no kidding. Matt Larkin with us from the Daily Faceoff. Can you believe Brandon Bussey? So basically, he's on the couch for 2 months. You know, he's a backup. Comes in last night, hasn't started for 2 months. Yes, he played in Game 3, so he got a little taste there. But man, that was a tough position to be in, and he might not have looked like he was totally composed all the way through, but he got the job done, and that's a remarkable story to be out that long and to play the way he did.
It is, and Kevin, I love when you accidentally tee me up to promote a story. I do have an interview with Brandon Bussey going live on Daily Faceoff tomorrow, and it's interesting because I spoke to him last week at the Stanley Cup Media Day in Carolina, and he was so gracious. He had so many good things to say about Freddie Anderson. I asked him, did he learn when he was in the Bruins organization from Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman, who were very close? And he said yes, and he said that with him and Freddie, it was very much a team mentality. He was staying ready. It wasn't about the individual. It was about kind of working as a family. That was the word he used repeatedly. And I think that actually mentally prepared him to step right in because he was sort of rooting for Freddie. It wasn't like this high pressure, okay, I've got to outshine Freddie. It was, Freddie's my buddy. He's doing great. Okay, he's not available for this game. I'm going to step in and pick up the slack. Or he got told in Game 3, I'm going to step in and pick up the slack. And I think even the way he plays, he battles. He's aggressive at the top of his crease. He's flopping around on the ice. He's mixing it up physically in all the scrums, it looks like, in terms of the scrambles, I should say, around his net. And I think it all ties into the team mentality that he has as a goalie. He is not the enigmatic kind of weird personality who does his own thing, which is the stereotype of a lot of goalies out there. And I think that's helped him step into the series and be effective.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've noticed a little bit of a pattern in the series. Carolina seems to come out flying every game. They're dominating the play. They've got to lead a couple of games, maybe a couple of games that hasn't worked out for them, but it seems like Vegas is able to get back in the game with some easy offense. The shots will be 10-2 and boom, they give up a breakaway or a 2-on-1. Do you see the Hurricanes making some adjustments in that neutral zone with that D stepping all the time, or are they just going to live and die by that?
It's tough, at least from what I've seen. I don't think, especially the Canes, I don't think they've changed much in how they play. I think they just believe in this sort of rolling style. And like you said, it's extremely aggressive. It's pushing the pace. And even that includes from the D, whether it's Ghost Bear, whether it's Keandre Miller, everybody can move the puck. And I think if we were going to see a major adjustment, it would have happened already. But like you said, the pattern has been pretty similar in every game. And the Canes, they like to overwhelm on that forecheck. And overall, it's helped them, right? If you look at the series, could almost be, you could argue for either team, but it could easily be 3-1 Carolina because of the fact that they came back the way they did in Game 3. And I think the fact they were able to, the fact that they can erase leads, they did that in Game 2 as well. I think it's a testament to how well their style works. So I don't know. I'm not convinced we're going to see major stylistic changes in this series.
Mm-hmm. Matt Larkin with us on the Kevin Carey Show with David Schlemko on Sports 1440. What have you thought about how it's been received, the NHL, the Stanley Cup final, in two markets where I can be honest with you, up here, Matt, like it's not that big of a thing to have these two teams Vegas and Carolina in the Stanley Cup final. Is it different down in the States? Is it different out east? What do you think?
It's really fascinating to me as well. Even when it comes to, if I just to pull back the curtain a little bit, when you're doing things like booking your travel for the Cup final, you have to ask the question, okay, is the audience big enough for this, even from a readership perspective?
Yeah.
And we weren't sure. And it's crazy to see how good the TV ratings have been. But I think we're seeing this sort of surge in interest, especially in the U.S. It's an Olympic year. They won gold, the men and the women. The TV ratings were broken in the regular season. So the fact that we were seeing these two relatively obscure markets still deliver great ratings, I think, is a sign of the health of the game. And I love the fact that people are just embracing what is really good hockey. Because even on paper going into the series, yes, it wasn't the most exciting markets, but I think everyone agreed this was our best chance to have a really even matchup after kind of duds in the conference final. And it's been pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to just jump ship a little bit here, Matt. Was reading an article about the Ruck brothers in
Yeah.
Medicine Hat, my former junior team there. These guys have kind of came out of nowhere this year to become like really high-end prospects. Is there a chance you think there's a team that will take them both?
I think there's a chance, especially because of the fact that if you look at anyone who scouted them, and our own Stephen Ellis is the expert at Daily Faceoff, but it really does seem like, similar to what we saw with the Sedins, these two brothers have the hive mind. They are better together. So if that means, if you want to maximize either brother's performance, then I think ideally you find a way to get them both. And I wrote about it this week, and I listed a few teams that might have the assets. You're looking at teams that have, okay, the first pick is not too high because neither brother is going to be a top 5 or 10 pick. But if you have a mid-range first round pick or two in the case of the St. Louis Blues, or if you have a mid-first and you have a couple high seconds, so you're looking at teams like Calgary, New York, Vancouver, and St. Louis. Those are the 4 that I listed. But I think those are all interesting candidates. And if there's an opportunity, if it makes sense, I think you have to consider it because you want to get the best out of either brother.
I know these guys are they're high-end prospects, but they're not in the same world as the Sedins we're talking about here, right?
No, not at all. And that's no disrespect to the Rucks. I just think, obviously, the fact that the Canucks were willing, they had the first overall pick, and they moved mountains to get both at 2 and 3 in 1999 because they were that confident that they were going to be not generational, but really high-impact players. And they were right? Both brothers won a scoring title, and Henrik won a Hart Trophy. They made it to within a game of winning the Stanley Cup. Whereas Liam and Marcus, I think, are not quite the same. Liam is more like the Daniel, the shooter, and you have Marcus, who's more like the Henrik, it's less sexy, right? So he's predicted to go a bit lower, being the playmaker. But overall, yes, I'd say they're not in the same stratosphere as the Sedins, at least in terms of current perception.
Yeah. And you always wonder what would have happened if Brian Burke wouldn't have been able to pull that off, and those two guys would have at least start their career separately. It's an interesting conversation. Matt Larkin with us from the Daily Faceoff. What do you think is going to happen to Dylan Larkin here moving forward, Matt?
Wow, what a game changer for the trade market. I think just for people who like movement and who like to write about this kind of stuff, hint, it's quite a boon, especially in the context of the free agent class, which is really weak this year, especially up the middle. Like you have maybe Boone Jenner now as the top center on the market because guys like Charlie Coyle and Evgeny Malkin re-signed. So the fact that Larkin is now in play is a big game changer. Obviously, right now, he's just listed reportedly the 3 teams. Pretty uninspired list, I must say. Talk about a front runner, but Florida, Vegas, and obviously Minnesota is almost feels like a preordained fit right now. But I'm still skeptical that those are going to be the only 3 teams in play just based on assets, right? Especially for Florida, Vegas. I don't know. And Vegas, really, their cap situation, how are they going to make that work? When they can't even afford, they have Pavel Dorofeyev and Rasmus Andersson, both free agents. They can only afford one of them right now on paper. So how would you fit Dylan Larkin into that situation as well? So I do think we could see other teams kick the tires. The Montreal Canadiens would be a really good fit. The LA Kings, the Philadelphia Flyers, maybe even Utah. There are so many teams that could use a player of his caliber. So it's going to be very interesting, but it certainly feels like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. How does Stevie Y feeling about all this? I seem to remember, obviously not the same situation. Drouin hadn't even been in the league yet, but kind of tried to pull the same thing, and he said, "Have fun in the minors." So,
exactly. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what he does.
And it's interesting too, because in this case, like Yzerman, I don't think has the same leverage that he did at the time in Tampa. It's just in the sense that you already have the longest active playoff drought in the league at 10 years. Losing Dylan Larkin is absolutely a crippling possibility.
Right.
You really have to get creative to make sure whatever you bring in is going to hopefully replace him, not just in terms of your pipeline, but in the lineup. That's a hard trade to pull off because a lot of the teams that want Dylan Larkin are teams that are more likely to offer futures because they're contenders. They don't want to pull from their lineup. So Detroit is in between a rock and a hard place. They don't want to take a step backward because their fan base is already impatient. They have not played a playoff game, guys, in that new arena. And that new arena is not even new anymore. It's crazy.
No, I played in it.
And I do. There you go. Exactly. So that puts Detroit in a tough spot. And I do think Steve Yzerman, this is a mess. And if he wasn't Steve Yzerman, I don't think he would have that job anymore as GM.
Matt Larkin with us on the Daily Face-Off, from the Daily Face-Off on the Kevin Carey Show with David Schlemko. I have to just note that Pierre Lebrun is saying, yes, indeed, the NHL is moving ahead with its investigation on Mike Babcock and events in Columbus, as per the NHLPA request. This is reported by Pierre about 10 minutes ago. Can I get a thought from you on this, Matt? Because we've been talking about it here ad nauseum because of it's such the situation with the Oilers coaching opening and how things have progressed. From your view out east, what's this organization looking like?
I mean, I'm not surprised. This is the same organization that brought in Stan Bowman as GM, and it's the same league that has Joe Quenneville coaching in Anaheim, and Carter Hart is in the Stanley Cup final. And I'm not trying to throw accusations at people, especially in certain cases where people were acquitted, but I think in each of those cases, poor character at the very least was shown by all of those individuals. That also includes Mike Babcock. And the NHL has proven time and again that it's willing to forgive poor character because it seems to love this redemption tale. To me, that's a little bit disappointing, but that's neither here nor there. If we're talking about the Oilers specifically, I am not overly surprised based on what we heard coming out of that room in terms of exit meetings and just the desire to pivot from Chris Knobloch towards someone who's much more of a taskmaster, who's much more of a motivator and a booming voice in the room. So yes, there's a risk bringing in Mike Babcock, given his reputation with players, but also it sounds like it's what Edmonton wants. It sounds like they want a kick in the ass. And you have Zach Hyman, of course, who played under Babcock and seems to be, from what I understand, a key influence on bringing him in. So if I'm placing a bet, I think it's going to happen.
I'm not sure if it is. And just going to go by this, Frank Seravalli also coming in now as we've been speaking here, Matt. Frank reporting that if the Oilers elect to continue down the path with Mike Babcock, sources say that the NHLPA is in receipt of significant additional claims from their own investigation with players that were not publicly reported in 2023. Those claims were presented to the NHL prior to his resignation. There's some smoke here, don't you think, Matt?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. It's a very fascinating situation. And I guess, if it breaks that way, we're going to see just a repeat of everything that played out with Babcock a few years ago. And this theater playing out in terms of just so much of information gets out there that it changes the court of public opinion's viewpoint of the situation and the team backs away. On the other hand, I have to think the Oilers would have been aware about this in advance if they're even considering Babcock. It's, no one's living under a rock here. And if it's ownership pushing the agenda, maybe they won't back down. It almost feels like it's a coin flip as to whether it's going to happen.
Yeah. We'll see how things play out here.
Yeah, I don't think the PA is going to let this one slide very easily.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's tough. And I do think depending on how many people are going to come forward, but if there's a massive groundswell from the PA, it's going to be tough to get it over the line.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing like good character, bad character on the other situations you mentioned too. I got to say that all those situations were things that happened off the ice, away from the rink, right? Babcock, this is at the rink.
Yeah, it's a fair way to put it. It's tangible, and there are active players in the league that were victims of some of it. So, yeah, it's a conversation that I'm surprised we're even having based on how it played out a few years ago, but here we are.
Which is what people don't understand in these parts. Matt, hey, thanks so much. Really appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of the Stanley Cup final. We're down to a best of 3. It should be great. Then we got the draft, and here we go. The off season's just around the corner. Always appreciate your time, Matt. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, boys. You enjoyed the games too.
Yeah. Matt Larkin from the Daily Faceoff. Our Puck Report brought to you by Fountain Tire. And at Fountain Tire, we take care of you and your vehicle. Book your appointment at at fountaintire.com today. So that, to me, what Frank is reporting here, I mean, the Oilers cannot go down this path.
No, there's going to be more that comes out. There's going to be more stories that come out, like horror stories.
Mm-hmm. And again, just to read Frank's post, if the Oilers elect to continue down the path with Mike Babcock, sources say that the NHLPA is in receipt of significant additional claims from their own investigation with players that were not publicly reported in 2023. Those claims presented to the NHL prior to his resignation. This is what we talked about when you first came in, Schlemmer. Of all the things that are out there, there are many more when you played, and you know, with all these other guys that are friends of yours that are not in the public domain.
Well, yeah, I mean, not every story is worth writing about, right? Mm-hmm. Not everything comes out into the public eye. I mean, one of the thing that spoke maybe volumes to me was you asked him what he thought about it. How does this look out east? And they say, well, not surprised since it's the Oilers. Yeah. Like that's saying a lot right there.
You know how crazy this is to say for me, still, Schlemmer? I still think at the end of the Stanley Cup Finals that the Vegas Golden Knights are going to grant permission.
Yeah. To talk to Cassidy?
To talk to Bruce Cassidy.
So you could have just waited another week and none of this would have happened.
Even Ken Belke said at some point, and we talked about the wealth of the owner of Vegas, at some point, you don't want to be paying a guy for not having him do anything for your team. So whether that's what is it, Duke, $500,000 a month or something? We figured it out, maybe more. Yeah, so like if he's $4.5 million, whatever it is.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he's still on the payroll. So at some point, this is Ken Belke. This is not me. Ken Belke from Vegas.
Yeah,
one of the reporters said this yesterday. At some point, but they're in their full rights to just wait this out. But I mean,
this contract.
This whole month has been comical at best.
A little bit of a nightmare.
When we come back, we're going to go in or out. I wonder if there'll be a Mike Babcock Christian on in or out. Who knows? You know, it would be great to not have one Duke. It's been 3 long days here already. Kevin Karius, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick, David Schlemko on Sports 1440 AM radio. We are streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Our new McCafe crafted sodas just drinks or something more. Like Sprite Berry Bliss, Creamy Strawberry Coke, and Orange Dream. All swirled with fizzy flavor and topped with silky cold foam. Only at McDonald's. At participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge. And this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a Park View rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Okay, new strategy. I'll just live in the freezer till October. It's spacious in here. It's spacious.
There's a better way to survive the coming AC season. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. We offer convenient financing options and fast appointments so you can enjoy your entire home, not just the freezer.
Now I can leave the frozen peas where they belong.
Book now at ProSolutionsInc.ca.
It's time to hit the greens. Elevate your golf game with Country Club Tour Golf Academy. No matter your experience, our PGA of Canada teaching pros are here to help. Enjoy lessons year-round between our 7 CCT golf courses and 2 state-of-the-art indoor facilities. Choose the location convenient for you. We offer private lessons, group lessons, expert club fittings, and junior camps. Visit our website to learn more and get ready to take your game to the next level. Booking is easy. Go to countryclubtour.com/golf academy and schedule your lesson today.
For the most physically demanding jobs, Carhartt's Rugged Flex technology provides extra stretch where it's needed most to help you crouch, kneel, bend, or crawl with ease. Rugged Flex pants give you a maximum mobility advantage every time you put them on. Find the largest selection of Carhartt Rugged Flex at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations and online at jobsiteworkwear.ca.
Job site workwear, tough for tough jobs.
From the first pitch to the final out, catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers, and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
It's Canadian Tire's summer big red sale. Up to 50% off. Dude, I'm soaked. I mean, they told us to make a big splash, so I did.
Save up to 50% at Canadian Tire's summer big red sale, June 4th to 11th. Exclusions apply. Details online.
At Wendy's, get a 10-piece nugget small combo for just $8.99. That's right, $8.99 for 100% Canadian chicken, plus fries and a drink. That's just good nuggenomics. Only until June 14th. In restaurant at participating Wendy's locations. Taxes extra.
Do we want to get right?
Just in time for the morning skate. This is the Kevin Karius Show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 9:44 in Edmonton. We continue to monitor the Mike Babcock investigation by the NHL regarding what happened with the situation in Columbus in 2023 with privacy violations. Now, this is from Darren Drager, which now this is, it's getting to where we're like, it's so like the tent isn't big enough for the circus. There's no timeline on how quickly this can be carried out from Drager. The Oilers are aware of this. Players involved, etc. in 2023 will have to be interviewed. If Babcock were to back out at this stage, a league source says there would be no reason to investigate.
Interesting. Is it too late to just say we made a mistake, we don't want him?
But this is after you heard on Monday on Bob Stauffer's show that the Oilers are 100% in.
I also heard a rumor that Connor signed a 7-year extension too. I heard that came from Staff as well.
A 7-year, or he's going to anyway.
Yeah.
100% their guy, backed by everyone in the organization. Owner, management, players. This hiring is inevitable.
That's the hill you want to die on.
Time now for In or Out. Let's get to that, Duke. Brought to you by Pro Solutions. You need fast AC service? Pro Solutions offers expert repairs, tune-ups, installs with flexible financing. Book your appointment now at prosolutionsinc.ca.
Okay, you know what? Moving too fast. Bottom line, are you in or are you out?
In or out of what?
No time for questions, just action. In or out?
Well, then I'm out.
I'm sorry, Jet. Actually, you're already in.
Are you in or are you out?
On Sports 1440.
I thought you would go, I'm in, Bob. We would have had a really cool moment, but you kind of ruined the whole thing.
All right, Duke. Let her buck.
The Edmonton Oilers coaching vacancy saga and a subsequent soap opera that is attached to it continues to drag on. Latest reports that this has actually even been updated since I wrote this out. The NHLPA will be or has successfully requested the league to investigate his tenure with Columbus and violations of personal privacy of the players before he were to get another job in the NHL. If the obvious factors that we have already been made aware of were not enough to deter this hire, this investigation and everything that goes along with it, the ongoing sideshow that would tail Mike Babcock moving forward is not worth the potential upside, which many people seem to continue to latch on to despite not winning a first-round playoff series in 13 years.
So when you look at the question, Duke, and as you said in the break, the juice ain't worth the squeeze kind of thing. I'm probably going to have to go in on it because it's just going to be on and on and on. I mean, what's the end game here? If the end game is him coming here and everything is fine and they win a Stanley Cup, no one cares about anything.
That's a perfect situation.
Yeah, no one cares about all of that.
Yeah.
But it's not.
What if they
think about
don't?
how hard it is to win the Stanley Cup here. So I just don't think that it would be worth. You're looking at you're gambling. You're talking about the desperation factor. Spec said it was 19 out of 10 yesterday. So worth the potential upside compared to the sideshow that it brings. Yeah, I'm more that it's not worth it. So I'm in on it, I think.
Yeah, I'm 100% in as well. I don't think I'm still just blown away by the fact that we're even talking about it. I don't know what these players are thinking. I mean, yeah, if you win the Stanley Cup, great. It was worth it. If you don't, this is going to blow up in their faces.
Mm-hmm.
I just keep cycling back to and this has been brought up many times by you, Kevin, by myself, by Gregor, by Spec, anybody that's been on this station talking about you can't deny Babcock's resume from a pure hockey standpoint. He is a good coach. You don't hire me to go coach the Olympic team, right? And I can't remember who said it yesterday or at some point. He of the previous generation was the John Cooper of NHL coaches.
10-year span there.
But we are removed from that time in terms of his impact on the league and the unwillingness to change, which has been made evident by his tenure in Toronto and the incredibly short tenure, no actual games behind the bench of the Columbus Blue Jackets. And now this investigation that seems ready to dredge up things we have not yet heard about. It just goes to your favorite expression, Kevin, the tent is not big enough for the circus. And we kind of said similar things when they hired Stan Bowman, where if you're the Oilers and this is such a pivotal year in your franchise with this hinge of Connor McDavid going into the 2-year contract, if nothing happens in the first year of that and you're going to the final season, there's a good chance that he is no longer an Edmonton Oiler. You're putting all that on Mike Babcock. How much better is he than other names that are available in your eyes? Is it worth the potential downside? I don't see it. I can't justify it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But as we said earlier, there is a great Stanley Cup final going on right now as well.
Is.
And last night, the Hurricanes, they hold on to tie the Cup final at 2 games apiece. They'll shift back to Raleigh for what is now a best of 3 with home ice in Carolina's favor. He scored the empty net goal last night, made several big defensive plays, and we alluded to this earlier, Kev. I think Nick Ehlers has very much emerged into the Conn Smythe conversation, and I think he has been Carolina's best player so far in this series.
I think, well, the guys that we mentioned already, Duke, earlier before, I can't get that look of that helmet.
What, you don't like me wearing my new bucket?
I love it.
I need a pin strap.
I kind of laugh every time
I need a pin strap for it to keep it on a little straighter. It's a little cockeyed all the time, but that's okay.
Looking over the monitors here, you look like Arnie Johnson,
I kind of feel like one of those, when you're watching the major league, the ball boys down the sidelines because they got the little helmets on. Yeah. I just need my glove and I'll be at the complete set.
You got to get either nachos in there or a big ice cream sundae or something, man. I don't know.
It's when's Slurpee Day coming up? I'll go fill this with Slurpee at my local Sev and slurp it out.
I'm going to be out on this one. I think Jacob Slavin's been Carolina's best player by far. Really? It's not even close. He just makes the right play every time. It's not sexy, but he kills plays. He's got the best stick out there. All those thick high flips out of the zone. The The kill last night where Stahl lost his stick, I thought he was unbelievable. Ehlers, I thought he's great in the first 3 games. I didn't love his game last night. I thought he lost Stone on the breakaway. That was his guy.
Right.
Didn't really love him on the power play. I couldn't believe they took Stahl off right after he scored on the power play to put Ehlers out there to rim it on the entry and gave up a breakaway doing it the one time. So I didn't love his game last night, but I think he has been a huge addition for them as a whole.
question.
He's a game breaker. He's that guy that can put the puck in the net.
So I you know where I'm going. I've got Jordan Stahl. I mean, what he's done in this final. And again, if somehow Carolina wins this, best of 3 right now, to me, he's going to get the Conn Smythe Trophy.
Yeah, that's hard to argue with.
And I know it's the Conn Smythe for the entire playoff, but I think this time it's almost going to be recency bias from voters that they say.
Well, I think that happens every year. The final does get more weight in the first round.
I get it, but I mean, Connor, look at the finals that he had.
That's a good point.
Right? Connor's finals weren't screaming hell, when he won the Conn Smythe. So he had the Conn Smythe 1 going in almost to the final, it seemed. So for me, I think it's going to be tilted a little bit more towards Jordan Stahl because of what he's done so far. And I mean, they got to win.
Yep.
And he's got to be a contributor here in the next 2-3 games.
Yeah, I almost said Jared Stahl again. Jordan Stahl. So he has accomplishing something through the first 4 games that has not been done since Mike Bossy in 1982, and that is scoring in each of the first 4 games of a cup final. And Kevin, I'm with you, and I think it's between Stahl and Stankoven for the Conn Smythe. If you're talking Carolina side right now, I just think Ehlers has made a case for himself with his play to the finals. And Stahl, if he were to win, and this is my bias because of how close I paid attention to it at the time, like when Scott Niedermayer won it with the Ducks in 2007, wasn't leading the team in points, but he's the team captain. The goals he scored were overtime winners at the biggest time, leading the team obviously as the captain. And as I said earlier, all-time great playoff beards for both guys as well. So
and our buddy Elsterman says he likes Stankoven too.
Yeah, I said
that whole line.
I think Stankoven's still my front runner.
Series. That whole line's been really good.
Yeah. And Blake breaking through last night with the goal seemed to get a little bit of maybe a monkey off of his back at the same time. Vegas side of things, it was their turn last night to have their comeback come up short. In the first 2 games, the comebacks were successful. Each of the last 2, not the case. So in order to win at least 1 road game and claim a second cup, as they will have the lower hand in this remaining best of 3, the Vegas Golden Knights need Jack Eichel to be better.
Boy, do they ever. So he's got no goals at home?
He has 2 points in the series.
Yeah.
1 at even strength. He's at 40% in the faceoff dot. Most of his advanced metrics are not in his favor.
He's playing with no swag, usually just watching him skate around, handle the puck. He looks like he's got so much swag, borderline cocky, and that is all gone right now. I think Torts has got to get him away from Stahl. I don't think Rod cares that much about the matchup. I think he's good with anybody playing against anybody. They're just playing their game. So I think Torts got to get him away from Stahl.
I would agree with that. I don't know, what happens now with Game 5 being in Carolina.
True.
How hard would that be?
Might not get to do that, but like I said, I don't think Rod is that concerned about the matchup game.
I guess my question to Duke was, I think when I said no goals at home, and am I saying no goals at home for the entirety of the playoffs?
That's probably true because he only has 2 goals.
Yeah,
he's only got 1 in the last 17 games.
He hasn't scored at home. He's got a lot of assists, but he hasn't scored at home, I don't believe.
He's not feeling it right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, Eichel, so he's second in the playoffs in scoring, but just 2 goals, obviously the 18 assists, and a lot of them primary. He has been good. He's been certainly one of their best players, but when you have guys like Marner and Mark Stone really stepping up their game and continuing into the final to be the team's best players up front, you need Eichel is supposed to be your best player. He's your number 1 center. He's also your number 1 shutdown center, and I get he gets a lot of tough matchups, but when you hold that type of standing on your own team, it's a cliche we've already used a million times in these finals alone. Forget the rest of the playoffs, forgetting past ones. You need your best players to be your best player. He's your team's best player, and he hasn't been through 4 games so far for Vegas.
Well, remember last week we were saying, well, how does Brindamore get the Aho line going? And we were saying, well, maybe there's a possibility that he goes head to head with Eichel, with Aho. But now you'd be crazy if you were Brendan Moore to take Stahl away from that matchup with Eichel, because Stahl's doing the job on Eichel. Plus, he's outperforming him on the scoring sheet as well.
Over on the diamond, the Toronto Blue Jays get one back against the Phillies last night. Dylan Cease, terrific in his return from his stint on the injured list, struck out 11 over 6. Doesn't get the win because of the late game fashion of Louis Varland getting that honor. But the go for the rubber match today, Alejandro Kirk behind the plate. His return is imminent to the lineup after his extensive stay on the injured list. Brandon Valenzuela walked it off with a single last night, and moving forward, I think it's a foregone conclusion. We touched on this even a week into Kirk's injury, that Valenzuela will be the team's backup catcher moving forward. But I think he deserves to remain in the lineup upon Kirk's return, even if it is at the DH when he's not taking his turn relieving Kirk behind the plate.
I'm so in on this, Duke, but for some reason, I got a stinky feeling that because of his options, they're going to go the other way. He's got 3 options left.
Yeah. And we saw them do it with Macko yesterday. We talked with Ben Nicholson Smith saying, how can you move this guy down? He's one of your best lefties out there. You got the Yankees coming up, gives you more versatility, and they option Macko down instead of Seabold.
And they're going to activate, maybe it's all in the planner, because they got to activate Scherzer yet today.
Yeah,
because he's pitching today. So now is it Seabold? And maybe there's something with Seabold because I don't know if he's that Rule 5 guy or how it worked, but maybe they can't do something with him or else, whatever. But man, Valenzuela's been so good. Yeah. I think you just go with him. If you DFA Heineman, and that's the way you're going.
Yeah.
The only thing that could come into play here is that you'd go, well, Valenzuela is going to get at bats every day. Kirk's coming back. He's going to get 4 to 5 days a week, right?
How old is he?
Who, Valenzuela?
Yeah.
25.
Okay. I like the way he's played. I mean, I've only watched like the Jays in 30 lately with the hockey playoffs and stuff, but to me, he looks very confident as a young guy. I like the way he manages the game behind the plate.
He's
Such
so
big
ready.
hits.
I mean, he handles the pitching staff well.
Yeah.
And
I really liked him with you Savage the other night when he's like going, he's just telling him like, take a deep breath.
George Springer's not hitting the ball.
And that's kind of my main point here, Kevin. Like, George Springer is still an integral part of this team. He's your veteran presence. And especially should the team find their way back into the playoffs, he finds a way to elevate when the games matter the most. But as of right now, he is struggling mightily. They moved Vladdy up to DH at the top of the order yesterday. They're trying to get him going. And I'm not saying you're sitting Springer every single day, but all of a sudden have Valenzuela as one of your DH guys in rotation when he is not taking his turn, like you said, in relief of Kirk on every 4th, 5th game, however they decide to do it moving forward. So it just seems like for a team that has struggled so much offensively, why tie one hand behind your back in a sense of like a guy that's been going, especially as of late, just pulling him out of the lineup and say, all right, thanks for your service. See you in Buffalo.
So while we're talking about the Jays, Kev, why, if you can explain to me why is Vladdy DHing and leading off?
Okay, well, he DH'd yesterday because they gave Springer the day off.
Okay.
And they figured they'd throw him into the leadoff because nothing has worked. He's batted first, second, third, and I think clean up maybe a couple times. But normally he's in the 3 hole. But they batted him leadoff because they gave Springer the day off, and they're hoping some change of scenery. Plus, they put McAdoo at first, hoping some little change of scenery can get him back.
Trying to light a fire.
He is the most disappointing offensive player in the major leagues this year.
That's tough.
Yeah, it is hard to see. And man, how many times do I keep going back to those guys on the MLB network?
There's a video that doesn't exist according to any records.
We're still talking about
you found that one and you're like, oh, here it is.
That was sent in from a viewer.
And you're looking at you're like, wait a minute, Sonny's hair doesn't look like this. This is from 6 years ago.
It happened about a month ago, and these guys broke it down. But right now, in the starting lineup, only Nathan Lucas has less home runs than him, and he's
still batting over 300.
Lucas played a third of the year. He's got 113 plate appearances to Vladdy's 278.
He's still getting on base.
It's just, but I mean, yesterday he's looking at the sky and thanking the heavens for his infield single here.
Well, you just need something to get you out of the funk. Sometimes that's all it takes. You need help sometimes from your opponent. Like when you make a good hit the ball well, but it's right at a fielder again. Sometimes you just need a little help from the baseball gods, and they make an error and they drop it, and then you kind of get your mojo back. But it's been going on long enough for a player of Guerrero's caliber that it's no doubt extended beyond worrisome.
Some guy from Camrose, can you send your name in? He says, actually, Fernando Tatis Jr.'s worse. Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, let's just go the American League. But by the time Vladdy hits another home run, that jacket's not going to fit him.
Jeez. Oh, there's the parting shot to depart our baseball chat for the morning. Today is National Bedbug Prevention Day. There's no shortage of pest infestations that can wreak havoc on your home, but I think bed bugs. Never had them, and I've never really had. And this goes back to like the farm and stuff. You have mice around, that's fine, but in terms of an actual thing where you need to seek professional services to rid you of them, cockroaches, termites, maybe even squirrels or something, I don't know. I think bed bugs would be the absolute worst.
Hard to argue with that.
You can't see them.
Yeah.
You don't know you have them until it's too late, and they're everywhere.
Don't you just get rid of the mattress then, Duke? Or what?
But like, man. Kevin, if they're in your mattress, then all of a sudden you're in your clothes, then they're in your couch, you're in your car.
My grandparents both had bed bugs in their places, I want to say, in like the last 5 years, and it is an absolute disaster, man.
Exterminator?
Like, you got to get everything out of there, like professionally cleaned everything, throw out the mattress, throw out
rip out the carpet.
It's bad. It's a big undertaking to clean that up.
So it would be never
brutal.
had them?
No.
I've never had
my
them,
only
but
experience, I don't even know anybody that's had them. My experience or knowledge of them comes exclusively from like pop culture when you see it on TV shows and stuff.
Some of those Central League hotels, I was a little scared.
Did you turn out the lights and have that black thing on there, Schlemmer?
I wish I would have if I had a black light. I'm thinking of like the big Texan hotel in Amarillo, Texas. Like I think they had like a big like mud area you could like park your horse in the middle. It was wild.
You know, we used to have a exhibition kind of hockey thing in Mundare at the old hotel there.
Oh yeah,
before it burned down. And that was as sketchy as a hotel would get. We didn't sleep too much, so it didn't matter. But I remember, this is a little bit off topic, but they had remember the old radiators that would pump out the heat?
Yeah.
She was 40 below one night. There was literally a hole in the wall the size of a softball, maybe a bit bigger. Birds were coming in and out of it sometimes. And it was too hot in there because the radiator was blowing so much heat. You were sitting in nothing because you were sweating. But I don't think I think a guy just took a sleeping bag and slept on the floor. But, oh, man. $15 a night.
Yeah.
Which included a steak dinner.
Wow.
Forget the room. I'd be worried about the steak.
Small town Alberta, Duke.
Well, yeah, exactly. So we only eat good cuts of meat, farm raised locally.
Suit says, you guys talking about bed bugs seriously makes me itchy while I drive. Stop it. Also, text 833-401-1440. Not Fred says, I've worked in pest control for 25 years. Bed bugs are very hard to get rid of. They can be in the walls. They come out of the space in the baseboards, through the electrical outlets. They're in the bed frames. They can be on couches, cushions.
Gross.
I've seen places that were absolutely infested, and it is a mental and monetary toll on the people that get them. Also, we do not have termites in Alberta. Well, thanks for that. Oh, good stuff. That's In or Out, brought to you by Pro Solutions. Check them out at prosolutionsinc.ca. Flexible financing on all the installs for sure. Coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, Brett Hedican will join us. 20 years ago, Brett Hedican was playing for Carolina when they beat the Oilers in the Stanley Cup final. Now working in player development in the Duck system with the San Diego Gulls. Before that, time now for a Sports 1440 update, brought to you by All-Star Construction. They shape and build Edmonton communities, specializing in underground utilities like power, gas, telecommunications, and street lighting. That's All-Star Construction. Here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game 4 of the NBA Finals going tonight from Madison Square Garden. The Knicks still hold a 2-1 series lead after their loss in game number 3. Tip-off schedule for 6:30 in New York. From the Oilers coaching saga, reports this morning that the league is choosing to move forward with its requested investigation of Mike Babcock from the NHLPA in regards to his violations of player privacy during his time with the Columbus Blue Jackets. In the PWHL, Toronto Scepters have found their new head coach named Pascal Réaume to the role, most recently as an assistant coach at the AHL's Bridgeport Islanders, replacing Troy Ryan with the Scepters. In the majors today, full slate of games, including the Blue Jays, wrapping up their set against the Phillies. It'll be Max Scherzer expected to return off the injured list and start for Toronto. Jesus Luzardo going for Philly. First pitch just after 5 o'clock. Catch that game right here on Sports 1440. Joined in progress at the conclusion of the Jason Greger Show. Elsewhere, plenty of matinee games, including the Rays hosting the Red Sox, Yankees in Cleveland, Giants up against the Nationals, and later on today, the Mariners, they're set in Baltimore against the Orioles. Edmonton Riverhawks also with a morning game, 11:05 first pitch from Remax Field for their annual School Spirit Day downtown Edmonton. Coming up in hour 4 of the Kevin Karius Show, we'll be joined by former NHLer and Stanley Cup champion Brett Hedican. I'm Brendan Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, the Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Mr. Rooter buries evidence in the desert.
I didn't mean to do it. I was forced into it. Yeah, forced. But now, no one will ever know. You've done well, Mr. Rooter. You did something awful, but you covered your tracks. It's done. The last transcript that shows I did a semester of electrician school.
Uncover evidence of the proudest plumber, Mr. Rooter.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
The Riverhawks are back. This week brings a Theater Kid Takeover, a cottage-themed Pride Night, and Sunday's Summertime Santa Toy Drive for Santa's Anonymous. Don't miss the party at the ballpark. Get tickets at gohawks.ca.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m., featuring articulated dump trucks, backhoes, excavators, forklifts, graders, loaders, packers, reclaimer, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m., featuring a large selection of 2020 to 2014 Caterpillar, John Deere, and Volvo articulated dump trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
The Karius Show, breaking down Edmonton's favorite teams, even though his favorite Junior A hockey team is the Yorkton Terriers. Thanks for checking in with Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 10-12 in Edmonton. Boy, that song brings back memories of
playoff run.
Recent playoff runs.
I miss it. I wish they'd brought it back for this year.
So they really haven't had one, right?
No, at the start, the symphony song.
Yeah.
I can't remember what's its actual title. Something symphony. They used that at the start.
Bittersweet Symphony?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
The Verve.
I thought they were going to ride that out, but maybe they learned their lesson from last year where they realized that it'll infiltrate people's mental state and their dreams, and all of a sudden they don't need to play the same 30-second riff of a song 1 million times over the course of a 2-month stretch.
Oh, it was and then Eddie would get in
just
singing, and it was just so bad.
So good.
God, it was awful. 10:12 in Edmonton. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko with you here on Sports 1440 AM Radio. Schlemmer is powered by Cougar Paint and Collision, where family service and pride have earned customer trust for decades. Check them out at cougarcollision.com. So, hey, we've been talking about golf a little bit here too, and tomorrow we've got the Canadian Open teeing off.
Nice.
It's an interesting week, and we've got the World Cup starting tomorrow. We've got...
Where is the Canadian Open this year?
Oh, you threw me on the spot here.
Sorry.
Duke?
Either BC or Ontario.
Well, no, it's in Ontario because we used to be, to be honest with you, we've had Alan Carter on the last couple of years because it was in Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
But it left Hamilton. You know what? You could just say, if you need the fail, Osprey Valley.
TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley.
Osprey Valley. You could always just say Glen Abbey, where it was for
Yeah,
it was at Glen Abbey. Yeah. Osprey. Wow. TPC at Osprey Valley, the North Course. So anyway, you finally got a round or two in, huh?
Yeah, I got 18 in at Dragon's Head last Wednesday. It was nice to swing a few wedges and then played 9 holes with the wife on Sunday night. So hit a few drivers. Was a little bit sore after, but nothing that bit when you swung. So still on the up and up here. Just trying not to overdo it.
I had Chopper Lopatinsky's tournament on Friday, and I ended up with a bunch of great guys, Brent Lambert and everyone else.
Nice.
These guys were absolute hooligans on the course.
Wow, it's a tournament.
I know. Tee off was at 8 a.m.
Perfect.
Yeah. Don't really appreciate having 6 birdies in the first 6 holes with, by 9:30 in the morning, and you've had...
Can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
Oh, man. But we had a lot of fun. It was a great tournament. So it was money well raised for MS.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Have you been going like in the last few years? Do you go in a lot of tournaments? Like you were in our tournament.
20 years last year. I usually go in specs if I'm in town. Yeah, that's about it.
Wonder if Spec will invite us this year. What do you think, Duke? Maybe you'll make a special guest appearance. What did June?
Yeah, maybe some other people can stay here and work, and I'll go golf for the day.
It's July 22nd.
That's not a bad deal, eh, Duke?
I'd accept it, no doubt.
Supposed to have a tea time today, 3:30 at the Sturgeon Valley, but I'm pretty sure that's going to get rained out.
Really?
Come on, don't be made of sugar here. It's
I'm
few
just
showers.
I've got this text as we're talking, and everyone's
bailing?
throwing the weather out. Cancel
look
it.
at this. Yeah, rain starting at 11 o'clock and looking pretty steady till the evening.
I'm supposed to play tomorrow, and it looks terrible tomorrow. Same thing tomorrow, Duke?
I'm supposed to play slow pitch tonight. Tomorrow it's supposed to be nice in the morning, but it does say 65% chance. I'm not really sure when it's supposed to start. My thing only goes to 10 tomorrow morning.
How's it look even right now for this Riverhawks game? 11:05 first pitch.
Yeah, well, it's 35% chance of rain. So for Edmonton,
65 not.
Well, that's a positive way of looking at it. And remember, Kev, that means 35% of the forecasted area should expect to see some rain. That's what that technically means. So if we're just playing at 65% of the area won't see any rain, maybe Remax Field is in that 65%.
Oh yeah, I've had enough of the rain. I already had to miss a month of golf season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, now you're ready to go, and it's just gloomy out there.
Yeah.
When we come back, Brett Hedekin, player development with the San Diego Gulls and the Anaheim Ducks system, and a longtime NHLer, and even the color analyst when Schlemmer was in San Jose back in the day. That's straight ahead on the Kevin Karius Show with David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM Radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
The family at Cougar Paint and Collision are growing, and clan member Cameron remembers his first time in the shop.
I hired myself at Cougar initially. Gordon was concerned about getting bike parts done and didn't really have enough help in the back. So I showed up and told Gordy I was fixing bike parts. He told me no, and I told him, yes, I am. I said, you can either tell me what you want me to do or I can just make it up myself. Just like to say that those bike parts that I hired myself to fix, I don't think I ever got paid for those. Just so if you can make a note of that.
Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocentre.com today.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Say hello to your new favorite drinks. Introducing new McCafe Refreshers. Icy cool, undeniably refreshing, and available in 3 flavors. Strawberry watermelon, mango pineapple, and blackberry passion fruit. Only at McDonald's.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. This deal's only good till 6 o'clock tonight. We need your credit card to hold the color. Hold the color. Summer package. Winter package. And the ever-famous re-PDI fee. I gotta pay to rebuild the car? Does this sound familiar? At Northgate, we do things differently. We offer 0% financing, a great selection of new, pre-owned vehicles. So if you'd like to do business a different way, stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
All the protection you want, none of the weight. Introducing Timberland Pro's Boondock Ultra Light Work Boots. The lightest Boondock yet, with the Timberland durability you expect. Conquer long shifts, move faster, and work safer with all-day comfort in a lightweight package. Find your Boondock Ultralights now at all 3 of our Edmonton job site workwear locations and online at jobsiteworkwear.ca.
Job site workwear, tough for tough jobs.
Have your sports curiosity cured with the Kevin Karius Show. This is Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back to the big program, 1021 in Edmonton. Just awaiting the arrival of Brett Hedican. We were talking a little golf before, too, with the RBC Canadian Open set to tee off tomorrow. There are 4 top 10 golfers in the world in the field.
Who we got?
Matt Fitzpatrick, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, and Colin Morikawa.
Nice.
But, you know, we were saying like and I think Jack Nicklaus mentioned this too last week at Muirfield where, you know, the Memorial is and it's Jack's tournament.
Yeah, it's a good weekend.
The tournaments are so condensed now.
What do you mean by that?
Well, okay,
Like,
so they jammed in the PGA, right? They
Just so close together.
Yeah, the PGA championship used to be at the end.
Yeah.
So now the Canadian Open, like a lot of golfers won't play the Canadian Open because they want to get ready for next week at Shinnecock and the US Open.
That's the biggest reason.
Exactly. So, the Canadian Open used to be not always the week before the US Open.
No, I feel that's just happened like the past 10 years.
I don't even know what it is. Yeah. There was a lot of times it was in September, obviously, and they had it spaced out a bit more. But I think even listening to Jack Nicklaus last week, he was saying about how the players' preparations changed so much now. They don't get to work at their game as much. It's almost like the NHL.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You don't get that practice time, man.
You're not.
Oh, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Never really thought about that.
I know it's way different. Some of these guys will go to the range for 2 hours after a round.
Yeah.
You're not getting pounded in the corners like hockey and all this stuff.
You don't have like that full week,
Yeah,
in
maybe
the
that's what
middle
it
of the
is.
season where you can really work on some stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with the US Open too, though, like going back to the Canadian Open, like it's the hardest test in golf. Like everyone's going to want to get there as early as they can, get as many practice rounds, simulate all the tough shots.
Remember back at the Masters, because Scotty Scheffler was going and golfing quite a bit, and Rory was golfing quite a bit there, flying back and forth, and get around in at Augusta, and everyone's like, well, what's going on here? Well, anyone can do it. You just got to have a PGA.
Pay for it.
Yeah. You got to have a private jet. You got to have that. You got to get whatever you want. So text 833-401-1440. How are we making out, Duke, with Brett Hedican?
Just waiting to hear back, see if he's still good to go on video or if we're going to ring him up on the phone. So TBD at the moment.
All righty. Sounds good. A lot of text still with Mike Babcock. And now, again, there's been more things breaking this morning. Leaf in the Wind says, any chance this story of hiring back Babcock is just the Oilers taking some media time away from Vegas Cup run, kind of a retaliation and not being allowed to talk to Cassidy? No one down in the States even cares about this at all. So
I don't think that's the smartest way to do it.
But yeah, the things that are happening during the Cup final, they're in their own little world out there, man. And for them, this is nothing. Vegas does not care about this at all.
Nope.
But I honestly still believe that at the end of this Stanley Cup playoff, there will be, an opportunity for Cassidy to talk here as well.
You know what? I'm still on the fence on that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that they will.
Okay. I just go by what, again, Frank said this too about Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly last week. So he was asked about it, and Frank says he's interviewed and knows Bill Daly for a long time. And the way he worded his answer, that led Frank to believe that that's going to happen.
Okay.
Okay. So it was just how he said, well, we'll see what happens after the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah.
And as Frank says, Daly never does. Daly doesn't do that. He doesn't say stuff.
It doesn't mean
with a meaning down the road or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
So that, and then what Ken Belkey said, at some point, ownership's going to go, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't put it past those guys.
But, if they win the Stanley Cup, they're going to be in a nice little mood here.
Fair enough. We'll see what happens.
Just to update our listeners, in case you missed it, what we were talking about with the NHLPA moving forward here. And Frank Saravalli reporting and saying, if the Oilers elect to continue down the path with Mike Babcock, sources say the NHLPA is in receipt of significant additional claims from their own investigation with players that were not publicly reported in 2023. Furthermore, Saravalli reports that sources indicate that asking players to see photos is not what ultimately resulted in Babcock's resignation.
Interesting.
It was the subsequent unknown allegation reported that cost Babcock his job in Columbus. So he resigned, and Frank has reported too on this show that he was compensated. Not his entire contract, I can't imagine, or whatever it was, but he would have had some sort of compensation.
Got something.
But at the time, Garo Kekalainen was the GM. John Davidson was the president. Those two guys had backed They were in his corner on this. It wasn't until the NHLPA came in and said, we want something investigated here. It wasn't until then when the resignation happened.
Yeah. I mean, I think those two guys are in a lot better defensible position, right? To be like, well, we didn't know. The Oilers, on the other hand, and like I said before, there's still going to be stuff that's going to come out, like you said, with the NHL saying that they've got more here.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a mess.
John the Butcher says regarding Vegas, torts. I don't understand why nobody's talking about torts as another option aside from Cassidy if they don't get permission.
He says he's gone no matter what, right? If they win,
He hasn't said that yet.
I thought he did.
No, he
I
just
heard
said
that
he's
from-
worried about this year. He's worried about the end of the
Okay.
playoffs, and that's it.
Okay.
So basically, he didn't really sign a contract. He basically, Vegas took over the Philadelphia contract. You know,
Really?
yes. Like
actually?
Well, he only had that remaining part of this contract left, like this year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I didn't
so he
even-
was fired in Philadelphia.
He basically got traded for nothing.
His contract had another year left of his contract after he was fired last year.
Yeah.
So Tocchet goes into Philly.
Yeah. No, I get it. I just
Torts has 1 year left, so with 8 games left, so whatever they would have taken over with the remainder, I'm sure they reworked it and there's bonuses, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But
well, if they don't want to keep him, I'm sure there'll be no shortage of
maybe
a
he'll
lineup.
be here.
Yeah. If that's what they're looking for, that kind of style. Take him over Babs.
Yeah. Kel or BG just texted, and I'm not understanding. Just be a little more precise with your text. Something about end of June. I'm not sure. BG send us in another text and explain yourself just a tiny bit. Hey, Team Dean texted and said there's a brand new 12-hole golf course on the west side of Gull Lake. He's going to try it out. 12 holes is perfect if he takes a 7-year-old out. I agree. 9's a little, you maybe just not enough, but there's a lot of places that don't have the land to build 18.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, we got Brett Hedican now on the line. Hey, Brett Hedican, it's Kevin Karius and David Schlemko with you, the former NHLer. Thanks for jumping on Sports 1440 this morning. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, David. Thanks for your patience. It never
worries.
feels like people show up at your house and people call you all at the same time that you're trying to jump on a call. So
yeah,
really thank
worries.
you guys for being patient with me.
Hey man, well you were calling the games. You were doing the analyst work in San Jose when Schlemmer was there like 10 years ago or so.
Yeah. Good to watch you play, Dave.
That was a good year. Wish I had a couple more.
Yeah, nice part of the world up there in San Jose, and
Sure is.
the Sharks have always been a great organization, and
Mm-hmm.
they always had a lot of success. Led by Thornton and Marlowe and Burns and Pavelski, and just the wonderful class of guys that they had go through there. It really set the tone, I think, for years to come, and that's what you're kind of seeing now. This next generation of Sharks coming through that organization have now been led by some of those guys that really love the game and probably set a really good culture there to live on.
Hey Brett, let our listeners know what's keeping you busy these days right now.
I really had a wonderful time with the Anaheim Ducks the last 2 seasons. I'm going to step away from hockey now for a bit. I think I just need a little break. I've been at this for 50 years. I've been playing hockey and or being around the NHL the last 33 years. And so it's just maybe time for me to take a little break from the NHL. I'm going to work on some other things personally. And, but I really enjoyed the player development side, working with the Ducks and the players. I think anytime you can take experiences that you've had in the game, and when I played 17 seasons in the NHL, you have a lot of ups and downs. You have moments where you learn the hard way on things that you should do within your training. You learn the hard way on the mental toughness that maybe you do or do not have, or the weaknesses that you have there. Definitely our sport exposes mental weakness. And I think where you need to kind of recognize as a player is you have to realize that, hey, when you get into those pressure moments, are you able to handle it? And the good news is when you're in those moments that you're in them, meaning you have to learn if you're able to go through it. And I learned at a young age at 24 when I was playing in the Stanley Cup Finals with the Vancouver Canucks that I had a lot to learn. And I had a lot of growth that needed to happen with my mental toughness during that stretch. And I worked on it for another decade, 12, 15 years beyond that. And then when the time arose in 2006, minute to go in the game to ice the game against the Edmonton Oilers, I'm on the ice with a minute to go in the game, right? And I knock the puck out of the air. I give it to Eric Stahl. He gives the Justin Williams. He splits the D, and hate the Edmonton Oilers fans are listening. He goes down and puts it into the empty net. But I say that because it wasn't a mistake that I was on the ice with a minute to go in the game. That was a lot of mental reps that I had done to get to that point, and a lot of failures. So anyway, I think working with young players, passing those tools on to the next generation is really what I love to do.
Yeah. And I noticed your title is player development analyst, not player development coach. So just wondering maybe what you did on a day-to-day basis. Were you on the ice at all, or is that more of like a mentorship? Did you do some video? What did you exactly do with these prospects?
Gosh, everything from being on the ice, getting out there, working on passing, working on the little technical skills that we learn from playing in the NHL for a long time, things that work, things that don't. The habits it takes to create every day in practice that then lead to a good framework to get them from the AHL to the NHL. And sometimes it's reminders every day to do the little things right. But doing video breakdown, sometimes you're there to pick them up. Sometimes you're there to kind of remind them, hey, you got to get going. You got to do this harder. You got to be more consistent. So it was a multitude of things that I did over the course of the 2 years. But, I really appreciate the Ducks giving me that opportunity to kind of get back, I guess, under the scenes of the NHL, not on the broadcast side, but more, within the team, having a little more skin in the game was a lot of fun for 2 years.
Brett Hedican, former NHLer, over 1,000 games in the NHL, our guest on the Kevin Karius Show with David Schlemko. So how much you've been watching and pulling for, your old teammate Rod Brindamore and your old team, as you mentioned 20 years ago that beat the Oilers. How much you've been pulling for these guys that are now deadlocked 2-2 against Vegas here, Brett?
I'm pulling for him. I'm pulling for Roddy. Clearly, we are really close. We've been close friends ever since I was traded there from Florida to Carolina in 2001, 2002 season. We've had a lot of good moments together, a lot of tough moments. I mean, the way I can remember it was we beat Buffalo in the conference final to go to the Stanley Cup finals in that 2006 run. And everybody else, I think, would hit the showers. And there's only two guys in the weight room. It was Roddy and me. And, we both kind of gave it the old, high five, looked at each other, and we kind of knew like this was a moment that we were going to both cherish. And now to see him behind the bench leading this group over the last, 8 years, he's, having his team get a shot for the cup. And here they are, 2-2 heading into game 5 at home with a chance. And that's all you can ask for. And David, you play a long time. You just really cherish these moments when you get on a really good run with a good group of guys that understand what it takes to win, not only off the ice, but on. So it's, I'm sure all these guys are cherishing it. I know Roddy, it's funny, listening to his press conference last night, they asked him, are you being able to enjoy this? He said, no, it's too stressful.
He doesn't look like he's enjoying it.
I know. He looks like it's been beating him up a little bit, but he wears that pride on his sleeve though. He's a real prideful guy, and he's definitely a person that cares about every guy in that room, and you can feel it, right? The players feel it, the organization feels it, the fans feel it, and definitely he cares.
Yeah.
So, Hetty, as the former, minute munching defenseman, I mentioned Jacob Slavin. I thought has been excellent. Maybe their best player. My counterparts here sounded a little surprised. So maybe you can do a better job explaining how good this guy is and how important he is to them winning.
Well, I can see why Kevin, has said that. I did a radio show after I think game 2. And they were saying that he was struggling. Slavin had been struggling a little bit. And I kind of just pumped the brakes on it like you, David, is that, here's a guy that we don't know what's going on inside that locker room with regard to injury and with regard to where he is at health-wise or, just fatigue. Like you're going to have moments during a Stanley Cup run through all of the 4 rounds that you're going to have a lot of legs and sometimes you hit the wall. and you're going to have to break through it. And I think the good news for the Hurricane fans and the organization and the team is that Jacob Slavin has all the tools to be great. And now that it's 2-2, and maybe he hasn't played his best in the first couple games, and maybe he's starting to find it here, that rhythm, maybe for games 5, 6, and 7, he's going to break through and be that guy that can really hammer it down. And that's, for me, that's the beauty of a Slavin, is that he's capable of taking his game to a shutdown level that he could raise it right up. And so, I respect all the little things he does, because, as you know, the little things of defense, when you're unbeatable one-on-one and you can go out there and shut other teams down, that's what I took a lot of pride in. And I'm sure I know that's what he takes pride in as well.
On the other side with Braden McNabb, Brett, I'm sure you took many pucks to the face, but to see what he went through and then to see him come back, just how impressed were you of that, and how well he's playing for Vegas right now?
Man, incredible, right? I mean, all I can do is think about the things that I went through as a player, particularly in the 06 run. Tore my hip labrum in game 1. They drained it with a big long needle and shot cortisone in. I tore my thumb off the bone in game 3 up in Edmonton. It bent it all the way back. Taped that up the rest of the series. Had both of them operated on after the series in the summer, a couple days apart up in Vail, Colorado. I had my hip done. A few days later, they did my thumb. So, yes, these guys are warriors. We all are have the capability of doing so much more than we ever give ourselves credit for. And to see McNabb and what he's gone through, taking that puck in the face and the stitches and whatever he did to his nose and lip, is next level. But that's what we do. We care. We don't want to let our teammates down. And that's why our sport is so special. Is like we do everything we can for the people around us without care of ourselves. And that's what really, for me, is so genuine about the NHL and our sport of hockey.
Summer?
Well, I mean, obviously you're pulling for the Hurricanes, Hetty. What do you think? What kind of adjustments do you think they can make to maybe stop giving up the easy offense? The multiple breakaways, 2-on-1s every game here.
Well, when you're talking to young players, it's about protecting the middle and never let somebody get behind you, right? Those are just awareness things that you have to get in your brain, is like, get back to the middle, let them, if they're going to enter, they're not going to go through the guts of the arena or of the rink. They've got to go to the outside. And then secondly, you got to be keeping your head on a swivel. Our old saying that we've used more than we'd like to hear and say ourselves is, head on a swivel, knowing who's behind you. Don't let people behind. But yeah, the system that Roddy and the Canes play is a little bit something that I don't particularly love, more of a man-to-man style. I love more of a zone. I like Joel Quenneville's style of play. That's just from what I've had success with personally within the defensive zone. I think when you get into pressure situations and you're man-to-man, if you start switching people and you start running picks and people are starting to move all over, very difficult under pressure to not lose your man and not have a breakdown. And, I thought Vegas has done a good job of really testing the coverage of Carolina, but, solving some of these problems, first of all, protecting the inside, keeping them to the outside, and then not letting somebody behind you is going to be paramount.
If you go back 20 years, Brett, to that series, and maybe even other playoff series, even maybe not quite as recent, but are you seeing more flip passes that flip out of the zone, like zone exits, more so now in the last year, couple of years than maybe 20 years ago? What's your recollection there?
Yeah, it's been a decade that we've been seeing this air puck. I think it works well under certain circumstances. I don't like it as a strategy, where you're just constantly getting back and flipping the puck and you're just kind of trying to take off, because you're consistently giving puck up for grabs on a 50-50. Yeah, you might come up with it sometimes, but there are plays to be made. And so I don't think it's a strategy where every time you get the puck, you're going to flip it. I just don't like that style. That's just me personally, but that seems to be something that definitely both these teams are doing, but more Carolina than Vegas, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Seems to be the go-to off of like every D zone face-off now too, right? Like those Ds, they flip to their offside, and that guy jumps from the inside, and he's just flipping it out to into the neutral zone to pressure.
Well, the analytics, and they'll say is like, and I'm noticing from Carolina too, they're not doing a lot of D2D and trying to regroup and move the puck up together as a 5-man unit. It's as soon as that puck is back, they're exiting the zone, they're moving it north. And when everybody's on that page, that knowing that it's not going to go laterally, it's just going to go north, that they're already anticipating that, they can play fast, right? Now, when you do that over and over again, you are going to start turning pucks over. And I think that's where you got to learn to, there's got to be a balance there where it's, maybe it's 80-20, 80% everybody knows, but the 20% you can still play hockey and control the puck. And this is where it's all rubber's going to hit the road. These next 3 games, it's who's going to protect the puck, who's going to hold on to it when they have it, and who's going to be turning the puck over. You just count turnovers, and the team that turns it over less is going to be the team on top for sure.
Mm-hmm. I really like what you said there about the transition. I noticed the same thing. Like even guys like Gostisbehere who handle the puck really well, have great vision. It's like they go back for a retrieval in the neutral zone. They're just turning up and just firing it north.
Yeah, they're definitely on this mindset of, the analytics show that if you get the puck out of your defensive zone, it doesn't matter how, whether or not you flip the puck, whether or not you move the puck, it's just out in the neutral zone as quickly as possible, that more than likely over time that you're going to be scored on less. So they're just following what the analytics have told them. And let's see if they come out on top. I'm still up in the air on how it's going to work here the next 3, but it's going to be good drama to find out.
For sure. Well, Brett, you said you're going to step away from the game and player development and things like that for a little bit. What's going to be on the docket here? Are you going to get in a little more golfing, fishing? What are you going to do here in the next little bit?
Yeah, I got some fishing planned this summer. I go up to Ontario and do some fishing, muskie fishing up there with some of my best buddies. We've been doing that for a long time. And I've got a little business that I started about 3 years ago. It's a backpack and patch company. I've got the NHL license. I've got college licenses. And so my patches have Velcro on the back, and they're placed right on my backpack. Here, I'll show you.
Yeah, we talked about this last time you were on because
yeah. So here's my backpack here.
Yeah.
We got the Canadian. This patch here I created. If you ever catch a 50-inch muskie, you get this patch.
Oh, really? Wow.
So I got one patch on my back.
Where do you go for that in Ontario? What part?
We go up on Drybury. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to kind of get up there over the last decade. My best buddy has a place up there, and it's so fun to disengage with everything else up there for 5 days. We might only see a couple boats that aren't ours, which is really cool that you're kind of remote, but you've got some beautiful terrain up in Canada, my friends. And I've always enjoyed Canada and always enjoyed playing there when I was in Vancouver all those years. And Edmonton, man, what a town for hockey as well.
Great stuff, Brett. Really appreciate you coming on. Good luck on your fishing trip, and enjoy the rest of the Stanley Cup final. Should be a doozy.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, David. Appreciate you guys, and look forward to seeing what happens here in the finals.
You betcha. Brett Hedican, longtime NHLer, over 1,000 games, 1,039 games that he played. Again, drafted by the St. Louis Blues, 10th round draft pick, 10th rounder, Schlemmer, back in 1988.
Hell of a career.
Spent a lot of time in Vancouver. Then, as he said, he went to Florida. Obviously, extended time in Carolina, and highlight would be the Stanley Cup back in 2006. He played think about those injuries he was talking about.
Yeah, man. He was always such a natural skater.
Yeah, good, really good. And he had, even in the playoffs, there's some seasons where he had, he was decent points. He was still sniffing around. But in that playoff run, he had 2 goals, 9 assists as you said, a minute muncher.
Yeah.
So you think about that, so there was still that offensive capability, because I think I'm going to check his high point total, 29, maybe somewhere in there, 29, 30, something like that. So just a guy that could get it done on both ends of the ice.
Just a good hockey player.
Yeah, exactly. And finished his career with the Anaheim Ducks, 55 career goals, 239 assists, and had almost 900 penalty minutes. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Kevin Karius, David Schlemko, Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick on Sports 1440 AM radio. We're streaming on YouTube, X, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch.
Hey there, I'm in the Fountain Tire sidecar, making a list of the things I'm doing this spring. 1, saving you money with up to 20% off select tires until June 13th. 2, Water skiing, tricky in a sidecar, but fun. And 3, saving you more money with mail-in rebates of up to $100 off a set of 4 Select tires and $50 off a $150 service with the purchase of 4 Select tires. Oh, that's 4 things. Oh well, restrictions apply. Book online at fountaintire.com. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together, Canada.
There's one game that kicks off summer, June 20th at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. The Elks home opener, Elks Alouettes, presented by James H. Brown, Alberta Injury Lawyers. Lock in your tickets now at goelks.com/tickets. Our city, our year.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Are you a skilled laborer? All Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience? All Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with track hoe or backhoe experience searching for work, search All Star Construction on Indeed.
The perfect place to host your golf tournament or fundraiser, company event, celebration of life, wedding, birthday party, or private party. Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club. More than a golf course, a fun, welcoming place with beautiful views, relaxing patios, and a team that truly appreciates each and every guest. Featuring Out of Bounds, Cattail's 5-star kitchen. Some say it's the best clubhouse dining they've ever had. Cattail Crossing Golf and Winter Club. Book your tourney or event today at cattailcrossing.ca.
From the first pitch to the final out, catch Toronto Blue Jays baseball games live right here. Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Sports 1440 is proud to be the home of Blue Jays baseball.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
Hi, Edmonton. Are you ready to serve up some summer fun? Join Subaru at the Edmonton Expo Center on June 13th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for a free, family-friendly tennis event designed for all ages from 3 to 83. Whether you're a seasoned player or have never picked up a racket, come to have fun and celebrate the start of tennis season in a comfortable indoor space. Register today at edmontontennis.ca. Make some memories and welcome summer with Subaru. Welcome to Uncommon.
Sports 1440. All sports, all day.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Thanks for listening to Edmonton's sports leader.
Welcome back to the big program. 10:51 in Edmonton, home stretch of the Kevin Karius Show with the Duke of Delburne, Josh Fenwick, and David Schlemko. Powered by Cougar Paint and Collision, our family helping your family for over 4 decades. Text 833-401-1440. Tom says this one, and it's a little, there's some moving parts to it. I wonder if Bruce Cassidy, he's still on the payroll, still employed by the team. Say Vegas wins the Stanley Cup. Would he not have his name engraved on the cup? Or does he get a Stanley Cup ring? Just curious.
Didn't we talk about this a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, we did.
He doesn't, right?
Well, there's a little bit of a precedent set, but it's a little different because even though he's still employed by the team because he's getting the check, this happened like 25 years ago with Larry Robinson when he came in, and Robbie Ftork was the guy. But he continued on and maybe did some. That was probably like how Lou Lamoriello was.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be working. You're fired, but I still want you to do a pre-scout here or whatever. So he got his name on the cup back then.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this is the same thing.
I don't think so.
I don't think he would get a ring. But
would he want one?
No, I don't think he would want one. I don't know.
I don't think so.
You know, you're there 72 games, but you get fired. All he wants right now is for them to release him.
All right. He wants to work.
Yeah. What do you think happens in game number 5 tomorrow, Schlemmer? More of the same?
Yeah, it's been so unpredictable. I mean, I'm a little biased because Martinook's my buddy, so I've been kind of pulling for the Canes, but I think the Canes are in good position to win this. If they can stay with their game, stay with that pressure game, stay on the forecheck, and just eliminate some of the easy offense, I think they're in a good position.
Yeah, it would be good to see Martinook win for you. Yeah, good buddy.
Oh, it'd be great.
You know what? It's almost like I've gone to the extent, and Duke and I talk about, okay, what are we going over and under all the time? I say, okay, it's got to be under finally. And, it's got to be a 3-1 game or a 3-2 overtime game. And it just hasn't happened. 33 goals so far, Schlemmer.
Oh, yeah.
The first 4 games. The record's 36.
Usually, like a team gets the lead in the final, never mind like a 2-goal lead, and you're like, oh, I wonder if they're going to be able to come back from this. In this series, you're just, they're coming back. It's like, what's the final score going to be? 5-4, 4-3? Who knows?
Like, you should just say automatic 4-3 and go the over every time. Duke, you're going to be doing some spring.
What is the over, Duke?
Well, it was 6.
It was 6, and then it was down to 5.5 for game 3, and then it was back to 6. Maybe it's 5.5 for game 2. Can't remember, but it did dip slightly. But yeah, it's been 6, pretty steady all series. Which for a playoff game, and like it's obviously is running off the precedent of the series because usually in the playoffs, teams like this, you could see it at 5.5 steady, maybe even go down to 5. So, and now if we reflect back to the Anaheim and Edmonton series, that total was constantly at 7 or even 7.5. I think every game.
Crazy.
Pretty crazy for playoffs. But
what do you got cooking here, Schlemmer? Are you getting back full 18 holes here or what?
Well, I was going to try to today, but that doesn't look too good. Got the last dance recital of the year this weekend, just in Morinville, so I don't have to get a hotel for this one at least.
Last dance recital of the year. Well, have a great week, Schlemmer. Hopefully you can get a couple of holes in here on the weekend. We'll see you back on next Wednesday.
Sounds good, buddy.
By then, we'll
have a champion.
Quite likely.
Unless what day would Game 7 be?
Well, we know Sunday for Game 6. So unless they took another day off, I thought it was the 20th. To be honest, is it?
I am seeing. So obviously tomorrow.
Yeah, Sunday.
Tomorrow, Sunday, Wednesday.
Ooh,
might be game day.
We could be teeing up Game 7 next week.
All righty. All right, Schlemmer. Thanks, Brent. Great show.
Thank you.
Coming up at the top of the hour, it is Fantasy Frenzy with
the former Rochep T-Bird,
Connor Helly, and the Duke of Delburne. At 12 o'clock, it's the Lowdown with Alan Mitchell. 2 till 6, Jason Greger drives us home with the Jason Greger Show. We'll join Blue Jays baseball in progress. First pitch 5:07, so we'll get to it right around the third inning. We are back with you tomorrow morning at 7 bells. Until then, time now for a Sports 1440 update. Brought to you by Fusion Promo Marketing. Expand your brand. Highly quality promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Get noticed at fusionpromomarketing.ca. That's Fusion with a Z. Hey, thanks everyone for listening. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the great texts and the interaction. Could not do it without you. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Until then, here is the Duke.
The Sports 1440 update.
Game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight from Madison Square Garden. The New York Knicks with a 2-1 series lead over the Spurs in the best of 7. Tip-off coming at 6:30 from New York. Off the ice in the NHL, the league is reportedly moving ahead with its investigation of former head coach Mike Babcock following a request from the Players Association. This according to Pierre LeBrun of TSN. This investigation would put a hold on the Edmonton Oilers potentially hiring Babcock as the team's next head coach. In the PWHL, Toronto Scepters have found their next bench boss as they have hired Pascal Rayome to take over from Troy Ryan, who was let go at the end of this past season. Rayome most recently serving as an assistant coach with the Bridgeport Islanders of the AHL. In the majors today, full slate of games once again, including the Blue Jays wrapping up their set at home against the Phillies. It'll be Max Scherzer returning from the injured list, expected to start for Toronto. First pitch coming just after 5 o'clock. Catch that game right here on Sports 1440, joined in progress at the conclusion of the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere, a couple games set to get underway at the top of the hour here, including the Rays and Red Sox, Yankees, and Guardians. Still to come later on, the Orioles hosting the Mariners, and the Brewers and Athletics wrap up their set in Las Vegas. The Edmonton Riverhawks, early morning game today with an 11:05 first pitch from downtown Edmonton for their annual School Spirit Day, taking on Victoria at Remax Field. Coming up on the station, Fantasy Frenzy with Hallie and Douglas. I'm Brandon Douglas at your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton.